Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Out of Mana podcast. I am your host 1A at The Real Shicey with the other host 1A at Joshua Cast, and we totally make up Out of Mana podcast. This is episode 20 podcast, Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Where else,
Twitch.
Josh?
Twitch again.
Twitch
Another
again.
Twitch.
Another Twitch. And Spotify, if they don't take us down, you might get...
Yeah, Spotify is the only one taking us down.
Yeah, there you go. So those are all the venues you can find us. Feel free to please subscribe to us, share us to the masses, leave comments, concerns, suggestions, all those good things. We appreciate it. Josh, how are you doing, my good friend?
I'm doing pretty good. For some reason, I feel like I have like an abundance of energy, but I don't know if it's because I drank a lot of pop today.
Oh, it's funny you say you drank a lot of pop today. I have also increased my soda intake, which I'm not very proud of. I stream the other day because a viewer called me drinking cherry Pepsi, and they called me out on. Not that they called me out like because I don't really drink it as much anymore, but like, hey, cherry Pepsi. I'm like, yeah, I feel guilty right now because when I hosted the wrestling pay-per-view a couple weeks back, one of my friends brought a 24-pack. And I'm like, I wish you didn't do that. like a 12-pack would have been enough, but we're not going to drink all this. So, needless to say, you know how parties go. Whatever comes to the house usually stays in the house. So, all that soda was left to me. And needless to say, I've been averaging like 1 can a day. You know, 1 can a day, I guess, isn't going to kill anybody, but I've been feeling very guilty about that. So.
It's funny that you say that too, because like I've actually been doing really good on my pop intake, but I've been reducing it quite a bit recently. I've just been drinking water. But today I had 2 of these. That's a lot of pop. That's a lot of pop.
That's 2 larges, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so maybe I'm gonna probably crash and have a heart attack soon, but right now I have a lot of energy. I'm like a squirrel.
Well, let's save it for post pocket. No, of course, if it were to happen during, I know maybe that'll give us ratings. No, I'm just playing. But all in all, that's very interesting. That's pretty funny. But yeah, my week from before the our last podcast has been, I guess, a little interesting. Needless to say, and I don't mean to gloat here, but I guess I'll give a quick rundown. So last week, Saturday, I opted to trade in my vehicle, which then led to purchasing a new vehicle. So yes, I am currently owner of a 2023 Hyundai Santa Fe. So,
Ooh, you went with the newest model.
Yeah. So I've been fiending for having a vehicle with sun/moonroof again. Ever since the last car I had one was my Pontiac G6, which was a 06. So quite some time ago. And that thing had like a 4-stage panoramic sunroof, and I just fucking adored it. And since then I haven't had one. And now all of a sudden I wanted one again.
Dude, those things are so it's an SUV. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's so that was the other point, or the other part where I feel like I also wanted to graduate to outside of sedans and get a more larger, I guess it's considered a utility vehicle, but yeah, the whole top just like fucking well, not the whole top is a moonroof, but half the top is a sunroof. So yeah, it's pretty sexy.
Dude, Hyundai's they're like the whole model of the cars like since 2016 until now have been like extremely revamped. They all look super sporty, super beautiful. I'm like, whatever they're doing, to keep doing it.
Yeah, no. So to that point, like my car itself, like it's kind of weird because it has sporty tones to it. Even the interior, like I'm not a really big fan of it, but I guess it kind of works. It has like carbon fiber accents to it, you know, which is sporty. It's quite funny though because it's only a 4-cylinder, which I don't care. I think that's better. I really do like that because I'm not looking to waste freaking gas anyway. But yeah, I'm just getting used to it. I'm not a fan of the push start button stuff, but I'm thinking that's now the norm and the standard.
You do know why they put
Uh,
that there, right? It's so you can purposely buy the add-on so it doesn't auto shut off. It's one of those weird energy savers that never should have been invented. It's
no,
just
no, no,
there
no.
to make you buy
You're
it.
no, no, no. You're thinking something different. Push start is the engine start I'm talking about. But to your point, when the engine starts off, that's when you come to a complete stop at like a red
Yeah,
light.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that, from my understanding, because I was learning from the dealership, that is a new standard.
Yes, and
That's
it's one of
supposedly,
the worst ones because they want to charge you
yeah.
more money to not get that.
But that's impossible because it's an industry standard now. That
No,
it's illegal for it not to have it.
you can actually pay to not have that from the dealership, and I don't know how much it costs, but I know that there's a way to like it's a legal way that the dealerships do it, so you don't have to turn it off every single time. It's an add-on. It's the stupidest thing ever.
Okay, that I'm not aware of. However, my car does have it built in where I could turn it off though.
Thank
So that's
God.
cool. Yeah, yeah, because I don't like it either. Like it's supposed to your point, it's supposed to be a energy saver, but I don't like it. I don't care. Sorry, I'm not saving that energy. Whatever.
Well,
So there,
I could be wrong. I'm not a car guy, but from what
yeah,
I've heard from car people is that because the auto turn off, you're actually wasting more, or you're burning more oil and all that stuff because you have to turn your engine back on. It's gonna do that quick startup. That's why
so
it's not energy saving. It's actually energy consuming.
so my line. I mean, that's an interesting take. My line of thought was that's probably gonna fuck up your starter more than anything.
That too.
That was my line of thought. But once again, I'm not a car guy either. Um, so yeah, so I learned that allegedly that was a new legal thing. And also, I didn't know, but the year I bought my other car, which was 18, so I think he said it was either 18 or 19, unknown to me that the reverse camera is also now a standard.
Thank
That, that,
God.
that
Those
yeah,
things are good.
which is actually a good one. Yeah, I'm not against that. So yeah, so I'm loving the car. I won't go into the whole process because that would be a long story, but yeah, it's very cool. I said this for my last vehicle, but I'm hoping to now stay with it on this one. But this will be the one I run to the ground. So we'll see how that goes.
So
But
that
so that
means it
haven't
must have been a really expensive if that's the case.
definitely the most expensive car I've owned. Yes, we'll leave it as that.
But you deserve
Uh,
it.
well, thank you. So did that on Saturday. Um, Monday initially I had off because I was supposed to take my old car for repairs, which is part of the reason why I also turned it in because I was expecting repairs to probably be in excess of over $1,000. So I was like, let me see if I can move this now. Um, but nonetheless, so that was just a day off for me. And then Tuesday, I went to go get my braces follow-up appointment. So I'm pretty much in 4 days or something like that. I'll actually be exactly at the 1 year mark. So um, I've been in pain for the last three days. Lost sleep every night. Today it's definitely waning, still very latent, but they put chain links on my top and bottoms now. Um, I remember you had mentioned we had talked. I don't know if it was on the pod or not, but I'm sure you don't mind me bringing it up because you've had them done in the past, and you mentioned about permanent. Um,
Retainer.
yeah. So you have what do you have again behind your teeth?
So if you get a permanent retainer, they get a wire and they just I call it cement. It's probably glue. I don't know what they call it, but they just
Yeah.
cement it to the back of your teeth and it stays there permanently to straighten your teeth. But do not do that. It's the worst thing ever because it makes it
So
near impossible to floss.
so I was looking at my paperwork and I'm kind of conflicted. I guess I'm gonna have to ask them unless I go grab it. But they don't have it termed as permanent retainers. It's called something else, and I think that's what they're doing to my both my top and bottom.
You should ask because well,
Here's what the other thing I want to say. The reason why I'm not too sure. That's why I'm asking you if they're called retainers because they said they're gonna put whatever it is, and I googled it, and it looked like what you explained. The wire behind on both top and bottom, but it's to assist with keeping your teeth aligned post braces. But it's not the retainer. The retainer part, it says on my paperwork that I'm only gonna have it for the top, and I only have to wear it when I sleep. So the actual retainer part is something I'll have to wear, but that wire part is just to assist the teeth not to move. And to your point, yes, it's glue, I believe.
yeah, yeah. If that's the case, don't do it.
I
they're
think I
tech.
already kind of paid for it.
Well, I mean, you could probably change that now, and they could probably give you the Invisalign stuff because there's it's something different now. It's not called Invisalign, but they have it where it's like clear, and you can put it on both bottom and top instead of
Hmm.
just the top one. But the one in the back of the teeth, the wire, don't get that, man. Because if you have trouble flossing now, because
Hmm.
of glue, it's going to be super hard to get back there.
All right, I'll bring it on my next appointment, and I'll see what my options are. Because at the start of this, I was probably doing this all the time, because I didn't fucking understand anything. But now that I'm way past the halfway point, I only have, I guess, as of now, like 4 to 6 months, as long as everything's going well, which is yes. So yeah, I'll definitely need to. I want to know that stuff now. So yeah, because I
Speak.
don't think I want that either.
Yeah, it's awful. I wish I never did, and if I did it now, I'd probably break my teeth. But it's funny that you mentioned teeth because I had that huge hole on the side of my tooth. I got it filled. I'm
Okay.
convinced that what's it called fillings
Hmm.
are a
Hmm.
scam because I got it filled like a month ago.
Hmm.
It broke off, and the hole's even bigger now. And not only that, when he put that there, he chipped another tooth on this side. I don't know why he was working on this side, but now I have another hole in this tooth, and I really think that
I think you got a shitty dentist, is what you have.
yeah, that's what I think too. And also, I need to figure out. I'm like, do I really want to get like, what's it called? Is it called a crown or something like that, where they put like something on top of it?
Yes, it's a
But then
crown.
at the same time, I'm also thinking about asking them to remove a tooth from here because I still have what's a tooth when you get like turn 18? Wisdom tooth, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a wisdom tooth up here, causing my teeth to like shift back in together, and I
Hmm.
think that's also why grinding is happening and breaking is occurring. So
Well, first order of business, in all seriousness, get a
change a
fucking new
dentist, yeah.
dentist. Like,
Well,
uh, secondly, yeah, you probably want to get that wisdom, especially if it's impacted, because it's gonna mess with your nice smile now anyway, with your alignment. And then lastly, the crown point, and I'm not a fucking dentist, so I'm not trying to sound professional here, but the crown point, um, I believe they only do that like for root canals. I don't know if I mean I'm sure you could do it cosmetically, but what I'm getting at is I don't think insurance will cover it unless it's for a root canal.
yeah. I mean, at this point, I don't really care. I just feel like fillings are just like a waste of money because like two,
I
three
I,
hundred
I
dollars
I'm
just for a
I'm
filling.
I'm I'm leaning. I mean, you did show me your hole, and it was and it was pretty big.
Yeah, yeah. It's gotten where it's
Uh,
like I was
s-
drinking
s-
water and it just like all I felt was like a crack and then it just flew up.
so the fact that like, do you remember like if they did an X-ray of that?
I think well they do an X-ray every time I go in.
Okay, so I find it quite odd that with the hole that large and the X-ray didn't show any root damage, which would then, like I said, talk about being a root canal. So
Well, I
that alone to me is very interesting. And then secondly, like going back to the filling, like I just really think he probably either did his job or maybe the hole is too large for them to do a good job because that could be a possibility.
well I'm gonna go back to the wire part. Supposedly the reason why I damaged it is because I flossed too hard.
Mm,
Because like I said, the wire I have to get like a special thing I have to go in between, and when I
hmm.
did that, it popped out. So
Oh, that the filling popped
no,
out
no, no,
because
no. The
oh.
the filling popped up because I guess I drank or ate water and it came up. But when I chipped my tooth, that's when it happened.
Hmm.
And they
I don't
said I'm
know.
probably flossing too hard, and I'm like, well, I have no choice. It's hard to get back there, and you tell if I don't floss, you guys yell at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a flosser, so but I think I know they say water picks are not a substitute for flossing, but feel like it's a good compromise.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a good addition. Like that, I think that's why they weren't too worried about the rip because whenever I use a water pick, I purposely go on that tooth to clean it out just in case
Hmm.
bacteria and all that stuff gets in there.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But at this point, I feel like I'm just wasting money on a tooth that should not be saved.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you could make that call. I mean, it's your mouth, so
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to lose a real tooth.
yeah, yeah, you are kind of young to lose a real tooth. So
Well, either way, I'm
uh,
losing a real tooth because I want that wisdom tooth taken out. That's an actual
well,
problem.
that's different. That's could cause more implications. So that one's okay. Um, so that was my Tuesday, and then Wednesday, I believe I talked this last about this last week about the passport, right? Did I bring about that on the
Yes.
podcast or was that offline? Okay, passport. So update on that is I don't know. I mean it's in. I mean it's in. They my check cleared. I guess if that counts.
Well,
um
if you don't mind me asking, is it still like $230?
yes. It was so I had to do two. It was two charges. The one that goes to the U.S. was 220. But then the post office, because they did my pictures there,
Oh,
and they have an application fee that was 50, so it came out to 270.
I wonder if you, I mean, I don't know if the process, like the last time I did this was like 2013, but I
Mm-hmm.
was able to go to Walgreens and get my picture taken, and then they sent it
Um,
in.
yeah, a colleague told me that too. I just opted for the post office, but you're right. Some or maybe all Walgreens do it. I don't know, but so nonetheless, that's in, which is fine. I guess now, to kind of further my story, I'm gonna have to keep my eyes on it more thoroughly because it turns out I really do need it because my intent was, drumroll please, to go to Toronto. So the reason why it's Toronto is because me and my buddy scored tickets to a wrestling event called Forbidden Door, but number two. So we went to the first Forbidden Door, but now we're going to go to the second one, which is going to be in Toronto.
Hold on, I see
So
AEW, but I also see Chinese or Japanese writing. So is this AEW versus the Wrestling Federation, whatever it's called?
New Japan Pro Wrestling.
There you go,
So
that one.
yes, this one was the very first uh, joint promotion pay per view. So in June of this year will be the second one. So the first one sold out in like 10 minutes. This one sold out in like less than an hour. Um, so very psyched, very stoked. Uh, and now I just got to make sure I get my otherwise, um, just might have to resell these tickets.
Well, no, you actually are safe. I'm not sure if you knew this, but because Canada and U.S. have such a close relationship to each other,
Mm-hmm,
I don't
mm-hmm.
think you actually need your passport. I think you just need your real ID.
So I'll have to do some more digging, but to coincide with your point, I think I'm safe as well, but not because of that, but because I have it pending, I guess.
Hmm.
Right? I think if it reaches a certain state, like even like if it's hung up in state, I think there's like something I could get in writing that'll allow me to travel.
Hmm.
But that's something I'll probably look into like, a couple months away from now or when it gets closer. Like right now I'm gonna wait it out. I feel like in theory should be fine. Because I did, pay for the expedited. Um, and yeah. So with all that said, um, that has been my week. So a pretty interesting one. Um, outside of that, for gaming, um, I finally wrapped up on Octopath for its main storyline. I finally beat the last boss of the main story, so that was cool. It's funny because I was kind of crippling myself at the end of the game there because I totally forgot, but as I was playing and I was losing, I lost like 3 times. I tried, and then it dawned on me as I was like clearing out my inventory. And I guess this will be a free tip for you, pro tip. Um, when you collect things throughout the game, you get certain items that are called nuts, and
You gotta get your nuts in.
you gotta get your nuts, yeah, and eventually you'll bust your nut or nuts. But anyways, no. So the purpose of the nut items is there's different types of nuts. Like nourishing nut or something. I don't know. Um, and every nut, when it's used on a character, it increases their stat permanently. So they have one for HP, like for their mana, although it's called SP. But attack, defense, et cetera, right? So I had all these saved throughout the game, and I never. And so in that line of thought, I pretty much crippled myself at the end of the game. So it was the most ideal time to then use the game. So I started pumping up all my characters and their stats, much like Pokemon and using what are they like Carbos and
Zinks and all that stuff.
Zinks and all that shit. Yeah, exactly. Same concept. Um, and then I pretty much murdered the last boss after I did that.
Isn't it
So,
weird when you actually utilize an item, you realize how drastically easy the game is? Like, same thing with Harry
yeah.
Potter when I was, doing magic spells and I started using it with, like, Endurus and Maximum. Like, man, I am just a force of nature right now, blowing through everything.
Yeah, it's so funny. But I was like kind of happy that I did forget about it because like I guess in that retrospect, like up until that point in the game, like I was, not that I was having a hard time with the game, but I was experiencing it without that buffer. So I thought that was kind of cool. But I haven't platinumed the game yet, which is still going to be quite a challenge because post post the game or whatever, there is like a bonus boss, and I won't spoil it, but I haven't beat it yet, and I don't know when because it's I or maybe I will spoil it because
Go
it's
ahead.
not that big of okay.
I don't. I'm not like you. I don't care.
That's true, but so and I really do appreciate them doing this. So the final bonus boss in this game is the exact same final bonus boss in the first game, which was for my money, one of the most hardest end bosses in RPG history. So I thought that was really cool. But then once I got my ass kicked, I'm like, okay, I'm tabling this right now.
So wait, hold on. Say that. So you said this bonus boss is the same bonus boss from the first game, right?
Yes.
So, if I remember correctly, you said these are taking place on two different continents or two
Yes.
different worlds.
Well,
So is it simultaneous timeline, or are they like separate timelines? Like, how is he in the second game if he was in the first game?
that's a very good question, and that's another reason why I guess glad they did that because that's kind of given it credence that there's some sort of connection with games. Um, I haven't gone to like I'm probably gonna I might even do this tonight. Finally go to like Reddit and start because that's kind of where a lot of the first game kind of like traction got with just players as far as like spreading word of mouth and just kind of have that cult following, I guess. So I'm gonna go on there and see what people have said and what they've put together to kind of connect the two games. Like I know through my playthrough, like immediately at the start there was like one connection I made. And then like throughout the game there wasn't really much, but there were like subtle hints that I was like, "Oh wait, no. That is a clear connection to the first game, but how does it connect? I'm not too sure." And then the final boss is like another clear like, okay, even if it's like alternate dimension type connection, like they kind of clearly threw it out there, which I kind of appreciate. So to kind of fully answer your question, I don't have that answer. So I want to kind of go online to the more crazier players and the ones that are like more detailed into the lore and kind of read what they put together.
I think that's kind of cool that they have bosses like that because, like, well, you play Tekken, right?
Wait, the fighting game Tekken?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I played, like I said, in one of our previous podcasts, like Tekken 3 was the one I amassed more playtime than anything. But
Well, like Tenkin also has like a boss like that. His name is Akuma, where he pops in every single game just to mess with the main characters. And then same thing with Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. He's the extra bonus boss at the end of like Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 that constantly
okay.
reappears. And he's like the ultimate guy that like if you really want to test your skills, you gotta fight that guy. I don't
Gotcha.
know. It's always cool when they do that because like it's like you beat the main game, but you get the little razzle dazzle effect. Like if you want to really test your mic, there you go.
Exactly. And to that same effect, like, and I think I mentioned this in last week's podcast too with FF7, where when we're talking about open world and stuff like that, like, they have the extreme hard bosses called the weapons. They have like Emerald Weapon, Ruby Weapon. Um, and you don't have to kill them at all. Like, they're just side bosses, big open world, or not open world, but, open world bosses, yeah. And they just drop, like, arguably one of the best weapons in the game. So it's like, you can still beat the game without that weapon, but if you want that weapon, you have to beat this guy. The only difference with this game is I think your reward is which seems like a very odd reward, but it's like I believe if memory serves me correct, you get a tree that you could equip that eliminates all random battles. So basically, you just run around the open world and never encounter a battle.
So
Yeah, I
that's like
know
the max repel of the world.
that's exactly what it is. It's like the ultimate mass repel. So it's kind of I guess it's like if you just want to run around and just enjoy the game for its beauty.
So I think I know your answer. I think it's gonna be story. But what is the true best part of Octopath? Like, is it the story? Is it the gameplay? Is it just the
It,
graphics?
it honestly, it's not the story. The story is fantastic. And by the way, since you are going, or I guess not set in stone, you're actually gonna. But if I may recommend a starting character,
Your mic keeps
uh,
cutting off.
oh, that's not good.
It's
I
been
would say,
cutting off, but it's very minor here and there.
oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it's because I'm leaning back or not, but I'll try to stay forward. I was gonna say if you do purchase it, because you said you were kind of on the fence about it.
Oh, I'm not on the
If
fence. I'm gonna buy. I'm just waiting for
oh, you're gonna buy.
the
Okay,
deal.
so yeah, okay. So when you do, then, if you don't mind me recommending a character for you to start off with.
Good.
Okay, I would recommend you to start off with Throne A.
Is that the cleric?
No, she's the thief.
Oh, okay.
I
That's
feel
weird
like
that you finish first, and I'll say my
yeah, sure. No, the reason why I'm recommending it is because of the story. Like I feel like that one you'll probably like the most. Now you don't burn through her story first over everybody else, but you just start with her. So the odds are you're probably gonna finish hers first.
Hmm.
But I just think that you'll probably like hers the best.
Interesting. It's funny that you say that because usually I always dislike the rogues, and I'm more for like the
Mm.
cleric healers or like the paladin characters.
Now the cleric one is my second favorite, but I wouldn't. I would one of my other friends if when he gets it, that's the one I want to recommend to him. But you will enjoy his too for sure. I just something tells me you might like Thrones a little bit better.
All right, fine. For you, I'll do the thieves first, just for the sake. But usually I go healer or paladins on these. And
Gotcha.
cleric's a healer, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What are
I
the
think
roles
they're
in
yeah.
Octopath? Cleric? Do they have a bard?
So no, no bard. They have warrior, scholar, cleric, um merchant, apothecary.
Oh, wait, hold
Um,
on. The pot, like when you say apothecary, is it just straight like medicinal stuff, or do they do
yes,
like potions that
yes,
poison?
yeah, yeah. No, they could do concoctions for damage too. They do
I like
concoctions
those.
for healing and concoctions for damage. Yep. Um, hunter and did I get them all, or am I missing? Or am I missing one? I said scholar, right? I think I got them all, or am I missing one?
If you're missing, that's fine. But the fact that I didn't
Oh,
know that there's
thief.
oh, well, thief,
Duh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But dude, I didn't
And
know they had an apothecary. Those are like my odd characters I like the most, just because they're all about brewing and being secretive about that.
her story wasn't one of the best.
But is her gameplay good?
Oh, 100%. Gameplay, yeah. Gameplay for all of them is pretty good. Like, there's also, so those are just your main. There's four extra, um, what do I want to call them? Not super class or super jobs. They're actually called jobs. There's an inventor, which is, I think all four of them are new to this game, actually. The last game had different ones. This one had an inventor, which is pretty cool. They have, oh, fuck, what are they called? Um, one's another like a damage spell guy, and another one's like a well, no, one was like a rune master. They added magic to base attacks. I don't remember the names of them. They're escaping me. And what was the fourth one? Fourth one was just like a stronger warrior type. Arms master, I think is what it's called.
So, I've watched very little of your streams because as soon as I made the decision that I was gonna buy it, I didn't want to totally ruin it for myself.
Mm.
So, let's say for example, you can only have 4 people in a party, right?
Yes, but you could pretty much you recruit eight. You only have four fighting, but you could go to any town tavern and switch them out at any time, except for your main. So if you do choose Throne, she always has to be part of your
Okay.
until you beat the main game.
Okay. So my question is, like, let's say if I get an apothecary, a cleric, and a scholar. Obviously, they're more support characters, but can they use their abilities to buff the main character, like a thief, to make them do more
Yes,
damage?
yes, yes.
Okay, that's what I like. I
That's
like when support characters can actually
yes.
benefit another character.
And on top of that, so that's their main job. All the characters, you could give them any of the other jobs as a sub job. So your apothecary could have one of the other jobs as their sub job.
Because I'd love to have like a combination of like my apothecary causing like dots on poison, and then my cleric just constantly healing the thief while he goes up and stabs people, and then maybe like the I don't know, the rune or the scholar just constantly causing buff, debuff, buff, debuff.
Exactly. That's what oh, that's the other class I forgot. Dancer. Dancer's another one. Or job.
Is Dancer like
Um
a blade character, like a rogue, or is it what's that buff?
Dancer's kind of your buff debuff character. Or job. Yeah, that's what makes it awesome. Is like is you could play with all the different job classes and you could really empower any of them to be your like damage dealer, which is kind of cool if you're really cool with it.
Your cleric is now the barbarian. He just rushes forward,
He could be. He
holy
could be.
light.
That's what makes it so awesome. Is you could do that if you choose to. Like
That sells me more on it.
yeah, that's what makes a game so cool and unique. But no, to answer your question, honestly, it just might shock you with the answer. I mean, the story's out there, very huge, but for me, it really is the graphics. Like that's what sold me on the first one, and it sounds like a very gimmicky way to buy into a game, and I will admit that. But the moment I saw that first game, I was just like, I just fell in love with it. Like I'm
So
like, it's a stupid reason to buy into a game, but I was so happy I did because it was the best thing ever.
So now this is the double question: is
Yes.
did you really buy it for the graphics, or did you buy it for the nostalgia factor of it looking like old Final Fantasy?
It did have a little bit of that, but honestly, it was first most because of the graphics. Like I just because I may have said this before, but I compare it to like a pop up storybook. Like that's what it looked like to me, and it's not. And as I say that, it sounds like oh, Steve grew up just loving pop up. like no, but that's the idea and the concept that it looked like to me, and the fact that yes, it was that little 2D RPG, just threw in with the HD element, was another factor for sure. But it was just the gimmicky style of the game that sold me on it, and not to mention it was the Switch when it first came out, and the Switch had like no RPGs, and don't quote me, but that might have been one of the first revealed RPGs that they had for the
Well,
Switch, and it was
they've had
exclusive.
RPGs. They just didn't have the big RPGs. Like they've
Oh,
had like what's it called? Um, oh god, what's that stupid thing? Fire Emblem. They've had Fire Emblem before Octopath.
but that's not the traditional RPG, I guess. I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying, but that's not like the traditional sense of an RPG.
I mean, Fire Emblem is kind of traditional, and they also had Monster Hunter. And I mean,
Like it's a type of, but it's more of a tactical RPG, right? That would be like Final Fantasy Tactics.
okay,
So anyway, but yeah, I look forward to eventually when you get it, and I'll probably actually let you play quite a bit to kind of how like you want to see me play certain games and do reactions like Last of Us 2. I kind of want to see you at certain points with your reactions.
yeah, I'm really hoping. See, I think another reason why I'm
I
also like waiting for a deal is I'm hoping that Square Enix announces that they're bringing Octopath 1 to PS5 as well. Because I
mm,
really hope that I can get the whole series on one, and then
hmm
maybe hear like a. Because I know Square Enix, I think they announced they're also going to PAX as well. And I'm also hoping that they bring Octopath Champions of the Continent to console too.
I
Because
don't
they
think
could
they're
do
gonna
it.
do.
Console has touchpads.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna do Champions of the Continents. I could see them possibly doing one. And there was actually an article about that as to why it hasn't been done yet. And I forgot the reasoning. I think it was something to do with just like the immediate um what's the word I'm looking for? Oh shit, I'm brain farting, I'm sorry. but they didn't want to compete with themselves right away, right? So could it be in the future, like on the horizon? Yes, but they didn't want to do it like in the now. But yeah, I don't foresee Champions of the Continent, and actually that would kind of, I would be upset by that because I don't know if how that data would cross. Like if I would be able to like log into that account, have my, because if it were on a console, I would definitely like that more. Not that it hasn't been okay on my, but you know, it'd feel much better on a.
Yeah. Oh, while you're talking, I was looking to see if like there was any rumors because that's what I was looking for. And the last Reddit post I seen was from 2 years ago.
No, I saw one recently because of part two came out.
Yeah, they're
Because
also talking about Travelers though.
Yeah, so we'll see, but yeah, the best part I like about it too, and oh, man, I just want, obviously don't want to spoil. I know you say you don't care about spoilers, but like I would love to see how, you know, you take the storyline and like kind of do your predictions as to like who the ultimate bad guy is or whatever like that. Because like I feel like they do a really good job with you.
Well, I think I'm gonna do a pretty good job at predictions because when you played the first one, I went to your house and I made fun of the characters' voices before I even heard them, and I nailed all three characters that I heard. So I think I'm gonna do all right with that.
Yeah, that's another thing I liked about this is like I said, the voice acting. It was just so much good, and it really makes me now want to play the other Square Enix RPGs that are out there, like Live a.
Of what? Your
Huh?
For some reason your mic is like getting worse, cutting out.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
I'll see if it happens again. Then maybe you can like see if your mic connectors, or maybe I don't know. Can you like unplug the USB and plug it in again?
I can do that if you want me to. Hopefully, it doesn't fuck anything up. But you want me to?
Yeah. Let's just test it.
All right.
All right. I'm hoping this fixes it because for some reason it cuts out more often now. I feel like we're going back to the old mic issue. Did you plug in your old mic? The one that's broken. He's still working on it. He's finagling.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll see what that does. Anyway, let me get off my Octopath pedestal. Back in WoW again. Just started streaming, as I call it, full time again.
Going for your 900th mount.
Yep, still trying to get my 900th mount. Um, and yeah, and now here we are. Today's Friday. Today's podcast day. So enough about me. What about you, sir?
Well, before we move on to me, I just want to say that for the last 3 years, because of me just leaving your stream up just for support, because you've been streaming nonstop these last 2.5, 3 weeks, you're already my #1 most watched streamer.
About time. It only took 3 years.
No, every single year you're #1.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch Twitch that much, and it's only you and a few other friends. But like within the last 3 weeks, because of you constantly streaming Octopath, you jumped immediately to #1 after the other two.
Yeah, it's I mean, well, like I think I clocked in over 90 hours now, with the exception of streaming the last boss. There was that day where I just grinded. That was the only day I didn't stream. Otherwise, every single fucking second of that game, I was streaming.
So,
which is crazy.
This is gonna lead into mine too. So I know Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is coming out very, very, very soon. Are you gonna know life that too right away?
Yes, I stand by everything I said with this year. It's a very unique year for me in gaming, which dare I say has been unprecedented. I am going to shelf multiple times this year, and Zelda is no exception. I am going to live Zelda. Now I do not think I don't think I'll be streaming. That like it sounds weird, but I feel like that's like a date that I want to have by myself.
So what I plan on doing, and the reason why I asked this is because coming soon. Because when does Zelda come out? May or April?
Yeah, I think it's like May, like Cinco de Mayo or something.
So because I played Breath of the Wild a long time ago, and I don't remember how far I got through it, but I didn't beat the game. I'm actually gonna sit down and play through the whole game. I'm not gonna 100% it because there's no reason to do it.
I didn't even 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna play through it from start to finish, story, and then I'm hoping it's gonna lead directly into Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to ask, did they clarify if it's tear like a tear, like tearing like a piece of paper, or if it's like tear or tear like
A good
funneling?
question. It's a good question.
I think it's like a tear, like the continent's being ripped in half because of the calamity, and that's why they also introduced like the forest spirits in the other game to basically rejuvenate it. Plus, Hyrule Warriors came out showing another continent, so I have a feeling that when the kingdom gets split, we're gonna have another ally come into place.
It's a
Because
good take. I love it. I love it. It's a good take. No, nobody has, or they haven't. People automatically imply tears, as in crying tears. And to kind of coincide with your theory, it's kind of same lines with tears, because a lot of the content's being ripped up, but then falling back is kind of like tears of them falling down, right? So it's a very good take. I love it. I love one of my friends' takes too. My buddy Rob. Um, I'm pretty sure he does a lot of theory crafting too. I, I mean, me and him have, but like I haven't like looked on, watched what people are trying to put together. But he had a very interesting one, because he was mentioning how um, maybe in this game we get like the ultimate deity for Link finally. And what I mean by that is because with Zelda lore, um, it was Skyward Sword, I think, is where you get like the deity of like Ganondorf, or Ganon, with the I forgot what the name of the ultimate bad guy was. And then with Zelda, you have, which has been mentioned numerous times. But for Link, we never really known Link's like ultimate deity is, where he gets that Triforce power from.
well, this is my theory, and
So I when he shared it with me, I'm like, it's not a bad one, because like they're showing the whole hand thing, and immediately people are thinking that it might be Hylia lending her strength for Link, which that would kind of be the swerve Nintendo wants you to think and do. But could it be some new deity that we're not aware of, that's actually Link's ultimate like power deity?
this is where I think
And
this
it's
is gonna.
and it's also green like Link. So
So this is where I think it's gonna go. I think Tears of the Kingdom is gonna be the last Zelda entry in this timeline. I think what we're gonna have is Link and Zelda both die with Ganon. And also at the end, in order for the Link to actually beat Ganon, he's gonna actually get imbued with the Triforce energy, and you're gonna realize the Triforce energy is the energy of the world coming into one, kind of like a spirit bomb. And then when he gets that power, he kills him, but at the same time, he kills Link at the same time. And then that's when the kingdom gets restored, or the continent gets restored. But both Link and Ganon, their connection is now finally broken.
I mean, I'm not gonna poo-poo it. I think that's why this game is why it's so hyped, and I hope they don't fuck it up.
I feel like
Um,
okay. I want to hear your opinion. Do you think they're gonna have another one after this? Because I feel like the way they were setting it up and the darker tone, I feel like it's about time they actually kill off Link and Ganon just for this timeline.
I don't know. The answer is no. There will always be another one. It's just if
Well,
you
obviously there's gonna be
the
another Link
question
and
is,
Ganon from a different timeline, but this timeline, do you think it's gonna end with this with their deaths?
man, that's a loaded question for
Because
right now.
there's three timelines, right?
Yeah, well, there might even be more than that. I know Nintendo finally it. I would have to go dig it up, because Ocarina of Time is where it splits.
Yeah.
And yes, I know I love, but like I'll be honest, as I sit here, I don't. But yes, I am aware of that. I don't know. It's a very good question. Um, I'm gonna say no. There won't be another one after this one, but obviously there'll be more Zelda. I think this will be a closure to a particular timeline, if that answers your question.
So you are agreeing with me. This is the end of this timeline.
I'll agree with you.
Okay. Because obviously, like we said, different timelines will continue Zelda games, but this one
Exactly.
I think it's gonna be the closing of this
Yeah,
timeline.
I'll concur with that assessment. And I think that's why they're giving it the actual sequel treatment, It's to kind of assist with that. Um, but yeah, I love like I said, everything you brought to the table today with theories. I like them. They're interesting, and that's what I think is making this interesting. Is people are coming up with some unique ones, and I don't really have one for myself. I just think I just think well, my initial theory was more that we would get a physical embodiment of Hylia, which my friend Rob made fun of me. He's like, "Well, that's Zelda." I know it's the bloodline, but I'm talking about the actual goddess of. Like, yes, we know Zelda is a physical embodiment of Hylia, but by generations, But I'm talking about like the physical one. And then maybe Zelda does die, like as a sacrifice, to kind of go on with yours, but not both her and Link.
I want to say that if Link does get put into that coffin again, I'm gonna be really upset because that basically means they ripped off Doom. Because I'm not sure if you played the Doom 2016, Doom 2020, but they start off the same exact way. Link, he opens his coffin, he, comes out of that time period, and then after, let's say, for example, at the end of this one, he goes back into slumber to repeat the cycle again.
But it's possible. The only thing I would conflict about that is like which game actually really started production first. Like I don't know. Like to say that they copied off one or that Zelda copied off.
It'd be funny if the same guy made the story for
believe.
both of them at the same time.
Would be quite funny. But yeah, like it's crazy. This game is gonna be wild. No pun intended, but um, it's gonna be huge, man. Because like you have the regular world that we know, massive enough. Plus, you have all these islands, which I know doesn't construct the same size of the regular world and land, but there's also an underground portion. So it's kind of like you got 3 tiers going on. Plus, the labyrinth stuff like that. Like it's gonna be fucking huge, man.
So, I'm gonna say this. I know you're gonna disagree. I don't care, but if there was a game that I'd love to see Nintendo bring to other systems, it would be that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I would love to see what they would look like without that frame rate rendering cap that they have, and to see like the full beauty of the world without the limitations of the Switch.
I mean, like, yes, I disagree. No, I mean, I have to disagree with you. I think when it comes to an IP like Zelda, I would fantasize about that, no doubt. But the fact that it, in some capacity, you kind of shit on it like it's a shit performance on the Switch is
No, what I'm saying is it can be so much better. It's just it has to limit itself.
We know that,
I know,
Josh.
well, obviously, but that's my point. Is that I would love to see it in all its glory.
But my point is the way it functions on the Switch, and how to even this day, like it gets made fun of, but in a good way. And I don't know if I shared this with you or not, but like
there's a term called playable, not it's playable, not acceptable.
It is acceptable. It's totally acceptable. Dude, that game in its own right looks beautiful. We just mentioned how like Pokemon should have performed like Breath of the Wild, and it didn't. So I feel like Breath of the Wild performs just fine.
No, Pokemon was a different argument. I'm saying that Breath of the Wild is the prime example of optimization for the Switch. That's as high as it will ever go, and Pokemon couldn't even go to that standard. But Breath of the Wild is definitely being capped by the Switch, and I'm just saying we've seen already the PC mods and how beautiful that looks. So,
no, I mean, like I said, I'm not against it. I think to this very day there are fans that make Ocarina of Time and Unreal engines that look just beautiful. But now this might sound extremely negative to say like Nintendo doesn't care, but they find a way to make it right and make it work.
Because you can't play anywhere else, of course people are gonna play it.
Well,
I think
yes, that part's true too. But
one thing I think Nintendo should do, and this is I don't agree with PlayStation either. Let's just say if they do a PlayStation route, they keep it on the Switch for 2 years, 2 or 3 years, whatever one they want, and after it gets old and people stop playing it, make it multi-platform, PS5, Xbox Series One, and then you get to play it again, but the enhanced version.
I mean, I guarantee you a lot of people would do that. They would replay it again.
They do
Like,
PlayStation games all the time.
so that would be an interesting idea. Like,
Because I mean, that'd be like the
Nintendo
only
makes their
way
own
Nintendo would
games
ever move it.
time exclusive, and then sell off. Okay, it's a used toy. Like, here you go. Make us more money. That would make them more money. Like,
That would.
there's no and if buts about that.
That's what I'm saying. If they ever,
if you're listening, like, Josh just gave you a multi-million deal. Like,
well, I didn't give it. PlayStation's been doing this for a while. I'm just saying, like, it's the shittiest deal for consumers. But like, if Nintendo was to go multi-platform, I could see that being their only option because they want to milk it for as long as they can.
well, to kind of like immediately segue, this isn't when I kind of make it like a mini. I haven't read much into this, so I see what you know, but all these rumors swirling about like Twitch 2.0, like, is there any credence to that? Is it going to be like better processing? Like, what's the or
Your
I
mic
know
cut off for most of it. Did you say Twitch or Switch?
Switch 2.0. What's the rumors going with Switch 2.0?
Well, I meant that's been going around since they made the Switch 8 LCD, HD, whatever the heck they call it.
OLED?
Yeah, and it turns out it was just a display increase. That was it. If they were going to make a 2.0, it'd be too late in the game. They would need to just do like a full-on new system.
Well, I think that's kind of what it is. It is a new system, but it's going to be exactly the Switch.
Oh, I mean,
just on steroids, I guess.
I mean, they could do it. Xbox did that already. Like, you got the Xbox and now Xbox Series X, so I mean, it makes sense if the Switch is still doing well. Just they got better chips now. Just re-release 2.0. They could do it. Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna do it, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes me curious as to, but like I said, they're all rumors, right? But it seems to really be ramping up. I just feel like it'd be the most disgusting timing though if you're to do that after this release, because it's like,
well, they did that with the first one.
Well, no, the first one was a launch title, which was fucking awesome.
No. It came out 4 days before the Switch. It came out on Wii U first, and then 4 days later the Switch came out, and then Breath of the Wild came out for that as well. It was day and date, so as soon as the Switch launched, Breath of the Wild was already out, so you also get on the Switch too at the same time.
Whatever.
But I'm just saying, they've done that.
No, I mean, you're right, because they've done that like the last 3 generations with Zelda. But what I'm saying is it was a launch with the Switch. Instead of Mario, it's been Zelda lately.
I mean, so far, it's their biggest story IP that they have.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not to shit on Mario, but he's not much of a storyteller.
I don't know. I mean, well, maybe it's me, but Galaxy and Odyssey kind of had the story with it.
No, that was somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Like, Odyssey, I very much enjoyed, and it did have, dare I say, the better of story layers.
I'd say Galaxy had better, but...
Well, I haven't played it. I won't say it did or didn't. I haven't experienced it, but your opinion's valid.
But, no, I mean, I'm excited. I want to play... Breath of the Wild and, leading up to Tears of the Kingdom, because for some reason, I'm, like, in a Zelda mood. I've been listening to a lot of Zelda music, like Song of Storms, obviously Ocarina of Time music and all that. But I'm also hoping... And this is a weird hope. I'm not sure if you played it, but it's called Triforce Warriors. It was like a 3-4 player Zelda game on the DS.
You mean Four Swords?
They called Four Swords? I have to look this up. There's one where there's like 4 links, different colors.
Yeah, it's called Four Swords.
And what's Triforce Warrior?
You're thinking of Hyrule Warriors.
Hold on. I'm going to look this up because I think there's also a game called Triforce Warriors.
Oh. Maybe it's called Triforce Warriors... And the
no, I am right. It is called Triforce. It's called Triforce Heroes. The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. It's for the DS. Yeah. See, I was right. Trying to make me think I'm wrong.
Yeah, okay. You shut me up.
I mean, there's probably one called Four Heroes or whatever you just said, and they also
Four Swords.
Four Swords that go up like that.
Yeah, because they had. I think that was the original one that was on also the. I don't know if it was. I think it was like Game Boy SP or something.
Oh, this was on the 3DS. It was like full, like
Yeah.
actual 4-player co-op where you and like
Yeah.
3 other
So,
people.
so was Four Swords.
You said it was like SP. Yeah, I mean, like this was true online co-op where you didn't have to use that little gadget and be like 5 feet away from each other.
Oh, bah humbug! All
But
because you didn't have to use the cord. It
well,
still was co-op.
no, I was classy and I didn't have the cord. I had that little adapter that you could actually be wireless within 5 feet.
OMG.
But no, I would love to have another Triforce Warrior, Four Swords Heroes, whatever the hell you said,
Mhm.
because I don't know, for some reason Zelda co-op was fun for me. I liked it. I actually remember
It,
being on the DS playing with 3 other friends and just playing hours and hours, going through like dungeons.
it definitely assisted with the puzzle aspect of because it added that added level of creativity, teamwork to solve puzzles
Mm.
versus by yourself. So yeah, no, they're in their um, bundle of fun for sure in their own right. But yeah, that's cool. My question to you is going back to Breath of the Wild. Are you also going to partake in the DLC? Because that was added story as well. I think you kind of have to.
I feel like I have to. The only
Yeah,
problem is it's freaking
it
expensive.
costs
It's like
money.
forty
Yeah, I was gonna
dollars.
say it costs money.
And that's the problem is like as much as I love Nintendo's IPs like because they're all fun. There's no denying they're fun. They're so freaking expensive and they never go down in price. It's like go down in price, please. But I think I'm gonna have to cough up the $48 for the DLC.
Tears is a perfect example of that. Matter of fact, not only it won't go down in price, it actually went up in price.
Yeah.
And then
So
they stand by it because they're like, no, we put a hard blood, sweat, and tears into this game, so you gotta spend $10 more.
yeah, but I mean if Tears of the Kingdom is as optimized as Breath of the Wild is, which in my opinion is the most optimized game for the Switch, that $70 would be worth it because it has the content to back it up. So that's one of the ones I will say sure, but usually I don't agree with that price point. But besides the point, uh, yeah, I'll probably bite the bullet and play the DLC too. And depending on if I can find it, I also might find Hyrule Warriors, the other one. It kind of adds to the story.
Hyrule Warriors. It does actually. You know what? I need to finish mine. I don't know how many hours I pumped into it, but it kind that one for me. Talk about wanting to play co-op. I wish I had someone to play that with more often because that what the few times that I did was fun playing co-op.
I'll make this promise to you. If I can find it at a reasonable price and not like over market price, I'll buy it. We can play co-op. Because that's technically a prequel to the game, right?
Correct, exactly. But the co-op doesn't mean it doesn't function in the way that you're thinking. Like it's not like we both play together. I think it's only local, like with two controllers. I
Oh,
don't think
that's
there's an
lame.
online co-op
Yeah,
component to it.
look it up. Well, look on the back of your game. It'll say online.
Yeah, yeah,
But
I'll do that.
going on to the rest of my stuff.
Yes.
I've been playing a lot of Call of Duty recently. I've been trying to make the push to Diamond and Ranked, and tonight's going to be my final night before I finally put Rank Play to the back burner because I need to start focusing on other games again. Um, so I'm 100 points off from Diamond, and
So wait, hold on, time. I'm gonna call you on something slightly because I saw your Twitter, and you were like complaining about not being tied to one game, and now that you seem to reinvigorate your love for, now you're complaining that you want to experience more games again instead of focusing on one. So which one is it?
so I'm still so I've been playing Call of Duty nonstop for like the last 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's been putting everything else to the back burner. I'm still gonna play Call of Duty. Don't get me wrong. I'm just gonna play other games in like the in between times. Like I'll play Call of Duty in the weekends, but like the weekdays, if I'll play like a single player game just to keep getting trophies and play more stories I like. But I feel like I've given it a solid month of me trying, like actively trying to find people. It just hasn't worked out. The fact that I got into Diamond Solo, I feel like is pretty good. There's like still 2 more ranks I want to get to. I'm still gonna try to do it for Iridescent within 23 days. But I feel like I've given enough time where I'm or how do I say this? I feel content pausing it just so I can play other games and have fun.
So, are with your current ranking, are you at a point where it's I guess point-based ranking where, and what I mean by that is like if you take the, could you in theory lose ranking
So
with other people climbing?
yes and no. So
Okay.
um so there's different divisions. You start off with bronze, silver, gold, diamond, or sorry, uh gold, platinum, diamond, crimson, iridescent, and then top 250. If you get past, so iridescent is the final thing that you get. But if you get good enough, you get into top 250. If you don't play that top 250 and other people keep playing, they'll knock you out of that zone and back to
Makes
iridescent.
sense.
But
Gotcha.
if you're not in the top, then even if
You're
you stop playing, you'll still be in that same
in the
rank.
same. Understood. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so if I stop now, I'll still be at diamond, and then that also locked me in place for the next season. So when season 3
Mm,
starts, I'll still be diamond, and I'll just
mm,
work my way back up from there.
cool.
But yeah, today's gonna be the last day. I'm gonna make that diamond push, and then I'm gonna start playing on the weekends because once again, I want to play Life is Strange. They just added that to PlayStation Plus. I'm gonna probably binge that this weekend. Um, Zelda, I want to play that very soon. And then I also bought a game today called Lumote because I'm a huge fan of puzzle games, and this is the one where I stocked an Amazon driver just so I can get my game early. But yeah, that's all I've been doing this week, and then also Sunday I plan on seeing John Wick, which I'm really excited for. I passed an advanced screening, but I still get to see it Sunday.
Cool. Cool. Nice. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. My weekend really has nothing, so I'll probably do a lot of get reacquainted with WoW again.
So, are you? So, when do you think you're gonna actually make the push to get platinum for Octopath Travelers?
That's a good question. I haven't really like scheduled the logistics of how I want. I definitely um I have to do more grinding. That's for sure. Uh, I want to go back to my first file and see my total playtime and my get or think I need to be to kind of kill this boss again. Um, and then just put a little bit of time of it. I mean, even if I do like an hour a day, although that sounds very chory, but if I do an hour a day, I could probably get like a level or two per character, and then they're already at, well, my top character is level 81, and then the other ones are like or I'm sorry, 76, and then all the rest are 70. So, but it takes like a lot of grinding at this point because it takes a lot of XP to level where my levels are currently at.
Sorry, not to interrupt you. I just opened the game because I was curious to see what's inside of it. This is a new game. I bought this new. I'm trying to cover the thing. The stuff is ripped inside.
Ah, what the fuck?
And there's also damaging on the box, so I may have to. I mean,
Um,
it's just the one thing. The rest is still intact. I need to look at the disc, but I hate when I receive something new and then somehow, like I said, it was in plastic, and the inside of this box had a ripped thing in it.
but the
Like,
box itself is okay.
there's a little. Where is it at? There's a little tear right back here. I'm not sure if you can
Uh,
see it.
no, I can't. But I mean, that just no. I mean, I believe you. But I just the glare. It's I can't really see it.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, that's a boner buster.
I wonder. So, to be fair about this game is that this was one of those original like online games that they
Mm-hmm.
just made into like a physical copy because there's not a
Mm,
PS5 version, and the
mm-hmm.
publisher is an independent person, like one of those indie ones, and they printed this. So I wonder if the reason why this is ripped is because whoever their publisher was like lowballing them, and they went as cheap as possible, and that's why the packaging was so lame.
I mean, it's quite possible, but every company to some capacity should have a department. And if they don't care, then well, sucks for you and sucks for anybody else that may get people complaining, then that they won't get used again.
Yeah, and it sucks too because like I try to support like a
Because
lot of.
people cook,
Go on.
yeah, because people collect those things.
Yeah, 'cause I try to support like any indie developer that I like their game, and I'm like, if they get a
Yeah.
physical, I try to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, their shipping distributor is Amazon. Amazon isn't. They're like basically FedEx. They're not known for good packaging or good shipping, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. Maybe I'll reach out because yeah, There's just a couple like little.
Did they put it in like well, I mean that's irrelevant how the way it was packed because the inside was ripped.
That's all it came in.
So it wasn't double bubble wrapped.
No, single, and it was just in this flimsy little wrapper.
Yeah. No bueno.
But to be fair,
It's
this is
probably
also $17.
I guess. That's like when I showed that Mega Man X Super Nintendo reprint
Cartridge,
or whatever. Yeah, cartridge. I mean, they packed that shit like it was a fucking platinum diamond chain. Like it
Yeah,
was.
but that probably
it was,
cost like a lot of money though, like $60.
Yeah, it was 100. Yeah, it was $100.
Well, yeah, with that price, you would expect that, but for $17,
Yeah, that's true.
you get bubble wrap.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Taru.
But no, there's.
But,
I was gonna say, I'm just looking forward to playing more games again. Like this limo thing, I don't know what it is about bright puzzle games. I'm just looking forward to playing it.
Cool, that's awesome. Oh, one thing I guess I want to share a little bit since we're obviously talking about games and future games. I read something about Final Fantasy 16 that I guess the whether producers or directors came out or whatever, they said that the main story should take on average 35 hours, which I was like, that's it. I mean, it's
35 hours is a long time for just a single story campaign. Like, there's probably gonna be like 200 hours of side DLC, like side missions.
Well, I think they said like all the side stuff, like when you talk about platinum trophy and stuff, that it'll probably take like 3 times that amount, which sounds, I guess, accurate. But I don't know. I mean, 35 hours. We'll see how when it actually comes.
It sounds like Harry Potter. It takes like 35 hours to be the main story, and then like 200 hours to beat the actual 100% platinum.
Yeah, because I mean, it took like Octo. It took me shit. Where was I at? I was well beyond 60 hours. So, and I feel like I was already acquainted with the system, and I dare I say did it faster, or at least it felt faster to me.
But you also, how do I say this? You did the cinematic approach. You probably read the dialogue.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's a lot of people that don't read the dialogue.
Well, then they're not true RPG players.
I know. I'm just saying that usually when people do time estimates, they do like the in between, like people watching like the main story and then just skim passing like the side quests. That's probably where they get their time.
No, I'm with you. And in your 100 streams, like to your point, and that's why another reason. Now you're making me talk wonders about the game again. But there's another reason why I love it is like every NPC in the town has a story attached to them. Like you interrogate them or whatever, and you get a little parody of it.
Your mic cut out again. All I heard was something parodying. That was it.
You get a little paragraph for every little NPC. Yeah, and that's what I like about it.
In the near future, I know you have a packed schedule, and most likely I'll win because my free is time. But I kind of want to do since you have a PS5 now, I'd love to see you get a PlayStation Plus and us going through the original Final Fantasy games and platinuming them, and like do a race to see who can platinum all the originals first. I know I'll probably win because I have more free time than you, but at the same time, you also know life more on the weekend than I do. So I think it'd be a fair race. And obviously, there's nothing at stake. It's just, little bragging rights.
Did you say steak?
Yes, A1 steak. Okay, this is a weird thing. I've had this argument before with somebody else.
Okay.
In my opinion, a good steak doesn't need any sauce. It speaks for itself. But bad steak 100%. Needs A1 sauce.
Well, first off, A1 sauce sucks balls.
You suck balls. In game.
So there's where you're wrong. No, I agree. A good steak should not need sauce, but also good steaks are usually sautéed with like something.
Yeah, like garlic, onion, butter, and all that stuff.
Exactly, pepper. Mushrooms, whatever. And that's usually how I get my steaks. It's like sautéed with something. But no, I agree with you.
Because I had a friend that says sauce goes on every steak, doesn't matter how good it is. I'm like, no, a good steak, you don't ruin it with sauce. Sauce is for the bad steaks.
I
Okay,
agree.
so what sauce do you get then? I love A1 sauce because I'm a vinegar
I
kind of
honestly
person.
don't. I
You
don't
don't
use
use any sauce,
sauce.
even for bad steaks?
So it's funny because like I was talking to a colleague about this. Like I feel like maybe I'm just extremely fucking lucky, but I feel like I've never had a bad steak. Like, and and this is a horrible comparison, but I've even gone to Denny's and had their breakfast steaks, and I'll do that
Oh,
without.
you have
I know,
horrible taste then. Yeah,
no,
Denny's is
but
like the
listen to me.
bait. Okay, go ahead.
I know that I'm trying not to make a comparison. I'm just saying, like, I mentioned that because it's showing my array of steaks. Like, I've gone to Morton's and spent fucking $80 on a damn steak, and it's like that was not worth $80 worth of steak. Like, was it good and delicious? Yes, but was it worth the money? No. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like my spectrum of steaks has been decent at
Mhm.
best, but no, I don't use sauce on any steaks. Like,
Interesting.
I haven't had a steak where I was like, oh god, I need. I haven't had it. Like,
Denny's would be
I'm just like,
Denny's would be the line that you would be like, even ketchup, anything will do.
ugh.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
use
sounds.
ketchup, but I'm just saying like it would
That's
Denny's is like, as plain as you get with a steak.
no, it is. It's not even a real steak. Let's be honest. It's like
Yeah.
a fucking pork chop or whatever, and they call it a
So
steak.
so what kind of cut are you? Are you like like a ribeye, tomahawk, fillet? What are you?
I like. I mean, I'm cool with strips, but
A New
I've
York
gotten
strip?
ribeye. Yeah, like, but I've gotten ribeyes before. I don't know if I really go to. I guess the go to would be probably strips,
I'm
but I've done them all.
I'm a fillet and tomahawk kind of guy.
Tomahawk.
Yeah,
I
only
don't
I,
think I.
I think it's because the marrow seeps into like the meat, makes it
Mm,
like more tender, but also rips apart easy. I don't know. It's just a flavor for me.
yeah, no, the strips and shit. What was the other one you just said? Not the ribeye. Fillet. I've done fillets too, and ribeyes. Not much of a tomahawk guy.
It's funny that you mentioned like you've had $80 steaks. Like there's a place called Palermo's. I'm calling Palermo's out. They suck. It's an Italian joint near me. They have
Yeah.
steaks, and their steaks are expensive. And I'm like, that steak sucked. That's like worse than
Wait,
Denny's.
they have steaks for $80 at Palermo's.
Oh, I'm not saying it's $80, but it's pretty
Oh,
like
okay.
pricey, like high, like above 50 at least.
Really?
Well, it depends on the cut of meat though. Like I went
That's
for a fillet. Fillets are usually more
that's
expensive.
crazy. I would not think that. But yeah, Palermo's is. I grew up on that because my dad and brother loved Palermo's with extra sauce, and I hated
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, they're still okay pizza. They're just not. They're overrated in my opinion.
They're extremely
But
overrated for me. But like they
yeah,
had expensive steak, and then I went to a place called Fogo de Chao, and they have expensive stuff. But their stuff is well cooked, seasoned, very tender. It's just it's a good selection of meat, and that's worth
yeah.
the
I
money.
still like the last steak I had was at Ditka's restaurant,
Oh, you had dicks.
and yeah, I had Dick's.
Yeah, the meat.
And I think theirs was how much did I pay for mine there? It was about 50 something, I think. And once again, it was delicious. Not it was fantastic. But like I want to find, like I was telling my colleague the other day, I want to find my steak. That's what I'm still looking for. Like the one that wows me, and I guess the price is adequate. Although like I don't mind once in a while going out and am on an expensive steak because it might be that place. Like I want to check out Jordan's restaurant. Like I'm disappointed with that too. And disappointment is a strong word. Like I said, they've all been very, but like I still go back to like fucking Texas, and I'm perfectly fine with Texas.
Well, this is. I think to me, in my opinion, the steak is dependent on the chef because I've been to the Golden Corral and had a steak there, and it was fantastic. But I went to another Golden Corral and the steak sucked. So it
Mhm.
100% depends on the chef.
And I don't know if Golden Corral is well. I know it's a franchise, but I don't know if they're forced to buy their
They're forced
meat
to,
or
yeah,
whatever
it's a certain type of
from
meat.
the same farm, or is it also depending on where it's located that they use different farms?
If maybe I shouldn't speak for Golden Corral, but I know there's certain places like Denny's and other fast food, IHOP, or not IHOP. There's another fast food place. I think it's called Boston Market. they have to get it from a select vendor because they have a contract with them.
Of course, yeah. I know some do, but even with contracts, like, is it a local?
If the person they're contracted with is local, then yes. But if not, then they'll get it shipped from New York or whatever other place it come
Exactly,
from. Yeah.
exactly. So now my colleague did say uh, she got her favorite steak of all at Gordon Ramsay's restaurant.
Oh, the one in Las Vegas.
Yeah, she said that was by far like the best one she's ever had. And I'm like, well, that's interesting you say that because he's supposed to be open.
Your mic is like cutting out even worse now.
I don't know why.
I'm trying to fill in the blanks, but I think you said they're opening up a restaurant here, right?
Ramsay's opened one in Naperville,
Dude,
allegedly.
Ramsay's restaurant. I'm not sure if you went to the one in Vegas, but
no,
it's how do I say it? It's very mixed class. Like you get your hamburgers there and chicken tenders, or you can
but
get.
why would you go there and get hamburgers and chicken tenders?
I didn't, but I'm saying they have from their menu. It ranges from that to like
probably
tomahawk steaks, caviar, and all that stuff. So I'm just like their range is all over.
Although I would say this though, I made fun, very quickly. Like, why would you get that? But at the same time, I feel like you're try it, and so like,
well,
this is Gordon Ramsay's hamburger.
According to my brother, the burger was juicy. It was a really good juicy burger.
Like I said, I'm not making fun because I feel like I would want to try it, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't be going there to want to try it. Like, I would have to be like, okay, I know I'm going here for 2 days, right? So it's like, okay, this day I'm doing the burger, this day I'm doing like whatever, or what have you.
You balling on a budget, you gotta get them tenders.
That is very true. Freaking $34 tenders for a two piece.
But no, I just thought it was funny that you go to his restaurant and you see like his menu and I'm like, wow, this is the biggest mixed class I've ever seen. It's like got Michelin star stuff and then you also got like McDonald's menu.
It's a restaurant for a reason, right? You got to support all.
But to be fair, they do cater to a lot of kids too.
Yeah, well, that's what I was about to say. I know Vegas. You think just strictly adults, but that's not necessarily the case. And yeah, there may be kids there involved.
Oh, there definitely is kids. There's definitely kids at that place because
Yeah.
they want to see. Because I think they film Hell's Kitchen in that location too, at the one in Las Vegas. So if you go there, you might potentially see Ramsay shooting the show.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that was good talk. Now I'm making.
It was just funny because like I also don't want to. I kind of want to ask it. So the same person I had this conversation with the steak is also the same conversation of how you take a piss, and I was like, he says he goes dong out. I'm go balls and dong if I'm like wearing shorts and sweatpants. Like I put it over and I let my balls hold the sweatpants while I just go. And he's like, yeah, I just go dong. He just goes dong only.
How do you? So he lets the
He holds his shorts and just puts the top part out just to take a piss.
No, that's wrong.
I feel like that's wrong too because I put the whole thing. I'm like, this is the holder right here, and I just let it go.
Like you're letting your waist strap suffocate your ball sack, like.
And at the end, if your hand slips, next thing you know, you're gonna shoot back up and hit yourself in the face. Friendly fire.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes, all balls come out when I pee. But since we're on the topic, how many times in your life have you gone into a public bathroom and the guy's pissing, but he's a grown ass man, and his
pants fully down?
Yes,
I've seen that, dude. Whenever I go to a movie theater, there's always a guy that does that. Pants all the way down to their ankles. And I'm like, yo, just unzip.
Someone out there, if you do this, you need to give us a fucking example. Or I'm not gonna. There's reason why you do.
Like all you see is cheeks.
I don't know. No. Like well, thankfully, honestly, I haven't seen it with butt cheeks out. I've seen it just with underwear.
Underwear, pants all the way down, cheeks hanging out.
I have not seen cheeks out. So that's funny. That's even worse, obviously. But I've I've only seen it with where you still see like whatever whitey tidies or some shit. I don't understand the concept. What is wrong there? I mean, there is wrong there. Let's start there. but someone try, even if you don't do it, try to give me a reason why someone would do it that way, because I don't get it.
So to me, the one rule in going to like a public bathroom is just mind your business, go to the stall, do your thing. Sometimes my eyes do travel, and I seen somebody in a stall, and all I could see was their pants, their shoes, and their socks completely off while they're on the toilet. And I'm like,
oh no,
yes.
wait, what? Wait. Wow. So wait,
they're in the, okay. So I was by the urinal. They're in the stall.
Well, so what do they do? Like take their pants off and throw it over the door or something?
No. So when I was at the urinal, I could see from underneath the stall, his pants just laying on the floor, his shoes off, and his socks off.
It's like neatly folded like this,
no, just like random all over the place, and he's sitting on the and I could see his legs sitting on the toilet. I'm like, you took everything off for that? You gotta take the socks off too?
That's probably the same person that if they're at the urinal probably has their pants all the way down. It's the same person. It's gotta be.
But then also, I feel like this is gonna be like a racial question. But whenever I go to like a public bathroom, for some, the rule is if there's open urinal spots, you go to the one that's open. You don't go to the next to it.
Yeah.
Unless
you're trying to say checkmate, then
Well, for some reason, when I go to the bathroom, there's a Muslim guy. Even if there's open spots, they will always go next to you and pee. And then they will look at you like you're trying to have a contest with them. And I'm like, bro, what are you looking at? Look at yourself. Look there. I'm not looking at you. This is weird. You're making me struggle here.
So of everything we're talking about, I've been in agreement with you until now. I don't think I've ever had that problem. Now, okay. To answer you, have I had to that point, like, they didn't follow the unwritten rule? Yes. But that level of awkwardness, I don't think I've had that.
I've had it happen at least 7 times in my life, where the guy's like next to me, and he just like, and he looks at me the whole time. I'm like, I don't know what you want from me. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking down. And I'm like, what? You like what you see?
They literally clear it. They're like,
but it's just weird. Like you can catch him from your peripherals. You're like, why are you staring in this direction? Why are you looking down? Like, what, you like old man nuts? Come on now. Like not to get too weird, but I got old man nuts. You want to see something? You want to see some coconuts? There you go. Maybe that's what he was amazed by. He's like, yo, you got elephantitis? Why are they so big?
Oh my god.
But I was like, maybe that's the reason why he came over. He sees, a pair that shouldn't be on a human. He was like, I gotta check this out. The eighth wonder of the world here.
Jesus. Yeah, no, I can't say I've had that problem. No. But the other thing I don't understand is, and now this is kind of also falling in the category of being maybe like over, but like, someone is, in theory, probably taking a shit, or at least they were sitting down, but then you hear the toilet flush, they stand up, and then they turn around, they're pissing. Like, you couldn't fucking piss while you're sitting down? Like,
now, I've heard this debate. People like, do you pee when you sit down? I'm like, if I'm taking a shit, yeah, I'm peeing when I sit down. But if I don't need to, I'm standing up. But then I also heard the opposite, where people that don't need to, take a shit, they still sit down to pee. I'm like, what are you, girl?
No. Yeah, no, that, what? Who, once again,
but now,
what is in their mind that you need to sit and pee?
But not only that, I can only say I've seen this once, and this is by the location of the legs. They reverse straddle the toilet, where they're looking at the place.
Wall?
Yeah. And I'm like, what? How does this work?
I've never seen this before.
I'm like, I guess if you're looking at an iPad, you use it as like a table. You're reading eating a cookie.
Now that one I have not seen before.
And this only happens when I'm at movie theaters.
What the fuck, man?
Crestwood is a weird place, all right?
Crestwood is a weird place. There's no end of buts about that. Oh my god! Wow.
I'm going there this Saturday, or this Sunday.
So you'll have a story for next podcast, is what you're saying.
Okay, so before I move on from this, So I will use a public bathroom, to take a piss, but I will never shit in a public bathroom.
Oh, I do. I got no shame. Like I've fucked up portal potties. So I mean,
No, this is gonna sound like a weird thing, and maybe I'm just too disgusted by humans. But like I've heard stories about people like, sitting down in the toilet and it's not clean. They get like crabs and all that stuff, or like some kind of STD because their nuts touches like the lid.
well, fucking pat it with TP. I do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to take the risk.
It's enough barrier. Look, man. I
If you
mean,
gotta
for
go,
me,
you
like,
gotta go. But I'm just saying,
that's
I'll
my
hold.
point. Like,
I'm just gonna
like,
hold as long as I can.
God bless you if you can. I've want to share stories here. I've shit my pants before as an adult. Okay, it was not fun. It was not a good feeling, and I never want it to happen again. So I will shit in a public restroom. I don't care.
I think everybody at some point in their life they shit their pants. Like I mean, even if you're a baby, you do
Well,
it.
yeah.
But I've only had it. Well, I haven't had it happen, thank God, and I don't want to jinx that. But there's been 2 points where I've gotten really close, and I'm like, I'm touching cotton here.
Sunday.
I'm like, I'm touching cotton here. I gotta get close somewhere. There's gonna be a huge leakage. I'm like, the only thing that's gonna be running is running down my pants.
Oh God. Yeah, my episode. Um, I blame old style beer for my episode because I've never drank it before,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure it was that old style.
Beer has like a weird effect. Like you think one, it makes you pee more, but two, if for some reason makes you have to go to the bathroom and crap because maybe like the yeast in it or whatever they put in there.
Something.
Because it does the same to me too. It like makes my
Yeah.
stomach rumble and I have to be like, it's a laxative.
Yeah.
Guinness
Yeah,
does it the most to me.
Yeah, once to that point, like it's not every beer, but yeah, I mean, I think old style's kind of shitty beer, so I blame old style for my shit episode.
PBA is also pretty bad too.
PBA. Wait, Paps? Is that
So.
what you're talking about?
Yeah. It's
Yeah, one... no, I think that's better than old style.
Well, it's not that much better.
To me, it's much better.
Oddly enough, like I said, I'm not a beer drinker. The only two I've liked the only three I like is Stella is my favorite. Guinness is second, and then Miller Lite if you put lime and salt in it.
Really, it's interesting. Interesting.
But that's where you get the Mexican style.
Well, yeah, but I figured so Miller Lite, you just do Corona or whatever, or Modelo.
Well, now you're being racist.
Now.
No, but like maybe because it's me. Like if you get like a Corona, like in the glass bottle, or like the Miller, you just put salt around the rim. You squeeze a lime juice in there, or you squeeze a lime in the thing.
Just put it in there. Yeah, no, I mean, well, first and foremost, now this is gonna sound very alcoholic-y, but like, I think I've been drinking Corona long enough where it's gone to shit. Like it's crap beer now. So like, I now prefer Modelo's. Actually, I got Victoria in my fridge. I like that one. I like Sol. I feel like Sol tastes like Corona how it used to taste. I used to like Dos Equis a lot, but I don't know. I guess my palate changed and now I don't like it. So Guinness is good, but like Guinness, it's like once in a great while.
To me, if I want like, I think the reason why I like Guinness is because in my mind is just because that's what you consider a real beer. Like, I mean, obviously, how the English prepare is like, oh, if you're not getting Guinness, you ain't doing it right.
Yeah. No, I could level with you with that mindset.
They got me brainwashed.
Sure. Yeah, but it's definitely I could never ever drink Guinness like a normal beer, right? Like it's my weekend beer or something like that. Like I can't do that. Guinness is like an acquired taste where it's like
it's a thick beer.
It's been 4 months. I think I want a Guinness. It's kind of where it's at with me.
Yeah, but it's also a thick beer too. You can't just chug
it's very
it.
Thick. Yeah. Oh no.
And also, if it's warm, it tastes really bad.
That's actually not true either. Like,
well, if you get in the cans, it's bad. If you get in the mug, it's good.
Yeah, there's actually certain recipes where you mix it with certain things, and if it's warm, it's like coffee, like right Guinness coffee. Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
But that's when you get it from like the tap, and you get that huge foam, and you just scrape it off, and that's still good.
Yeah. Um,
One that do you consider Rolling Rocks a beer? I consider it 7 Up.
I don't even know if I've had it.
I've tried it once, and I'm like, this isn't beer. This is 7 Up.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had it.
Now going back to Dos Equis, did you get Dos Equis because of the old man in the commercials, or did you actually want to try it?
Um, Probably both, because that was the era that I started buying it, but that wasn't my own fault. That was just, the time period.
I don't usually drink beer, but when I do, I
When I
prefer
do
Dos Equis.
prefer the Sekis. And it's funny because like, what was that guy? Wasn't even like Latin. Like he was Greek or something. I don't know.
Oh, I
Like,
don't know what he was. All I know is it's funny. Like he always like two girls on him. He's like,
yeah,
I don't usually drink beer, but when I do, it's Dos Equis.
Dos Sekis. Yeah. So anyhow, what else you got for us, sir? Before we dive into our first topic.
Not much. Just
Unfortunately,
a lot of
fortunately, only one of two topics today. For anybody out there, it was I guess another slow week for us.
yeah, dude. The topics I want to talk about are usually sad because like this. I was gonna bring this up because I know
Yeah, go ahead.
last
You can still bring it up.
I know last week I talked about Lance Reddick. He passed away, and then Destiny. I know I didn't bring it up because you aren't familiar with a lot of his work besides John Wick and some other stuff. But this week in Destiny actually got me to a point where I legitimately almost cried because there was a huge death scene in Destiny where there's a character called Amanda Holiday. She passed away, and during the grieving scene, Lance Reddick's character Zavala was like, kneeling over the body, mourning her, and I'm like, it's just weird to see an actual in-game death versus a real person's death right next to each other, mourning each other. It's like a parallel.
Yeah,
I'm like, that was like the worst time Bungie could ever have done that. And I'm just
but
and
it wasn't their like it was in not within their control to do that
well,
though,
they
right?
they, they could have. I mean, so Tuesday's the update. Lance passed away Friday. They could have delayed it one more week. At least that story part. Like
But
they have the
would
power.
one okay? Let me ask you this: would one
I mean, it would be less impactful
uh,
than like 2 days after his passing, and then immediately after that, 2 days later, they made a huge notification, of his Lance Redrick 1961 to 2023, whatever, and then all this other stuff and playing his dialogue. I'm like, now you're just playing heartstrings at this point. Like I know it sounds stupid because like
no, it doesn't. I think because you have that personal connection playing that game so long, and there is that realism that's not stupid at all.
yeah, like 9 years of him being in a constant game. And
Yeah.
I know him as a character, and then also I've watched The
Hmm.
Wire, John Wick.
Hmm.
He's also in Horizon, the game you gave me. He's a character in that. He's also a character in Vox Machina. He plays one of the Chroma Conclave dragons. So it's like I'm familiar with his work. It's weird when you get impacted by someone, but you don't realize how much they impact you until they actually pass away. Because I thought I would just be like, oh, it's unfortunate. But I'm like seeing everywhere, and then the game I play, I get reminded. I'm like, oh, that really sucks.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's not stupid at all. Um. Yeah. Anything else?
No, it was just that. I brought that up, and I'm like, it's a depressing matter, but I'm like, it's
No.
something.
Nah. Not at all. But with that
Not all,
said,
boy. We
with
go
that
to number one.
said, go yeah. Topic uno. Well, you're probably gonna have to do a lot of explaining, but I'll introduce it, I guess. So, topic number one is, and the future is. So, Josh, if you to ad lib and expand on that topic.
So, before we've talked about on this podcast, I know I've had this conversation with the real Shiesty on here. Like, what does he think the future is of VR, AR? I've always said AR. And recently, there was a whole bunch of corporations coming together with Unity, Apple, and a whole bunch of other companies that decided to fully push an AR. And recently, Facebook released a new advertisement called Metaverse. We all knew Metaverse was out; they were making a thing, but this one shows that they're trying to bring Metaverse into all aspects, like Hololens, where you could look at let's say apply history into a classroom where you're seeing an actual live rendering dinosaur, or like a doctor can wear spectacles and actually see like a actual real rendering of your bone in person. And I'm just like, this is true augmented Blade Runner technology where you could see actual digital stuff in the real world and use it into real life appliances. Like, let's say you're building a car, you can digitally make the car in your glasses, and then find that part, and then just immediately go to that part and just tighten it, whatever. Like instead of having to like do it manually, the thing can already map it out for you, and you can just go straight to a pinpoint accuracy. And that's what Metaverse is trying to do now, is they're trying to make it usable in all forms of life right now. Which is kind of crazy.
Well, I think your example of the car, we'll say that one, the mechanical one, I don't think it's at a point, and dare I say it'll ever be at a point, so I don't want to go that far, but it's definitely not a point where they could schematically look at it through a blueprint and, to your point, tighten something. Like that's
Well,
not
the
that's not
car
true.
is the most plausible one because all you do is you take the base model of a car, you apply it, you upload it the schematics to your database, and then you just re-render it on top of that car already. And then you can just have the car run. It does a diagnostic. You can pinpoint with that diagnostic what the problem is and jump straight to that port. That's already
So
possible now.
that is possible even without the AR technology you're talking about, because they have that. Almost everything is done with fucking oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
The chip, you just plug it in.
Well, yeah, the chip. There's another word I was looking for, but sensors. There we go,
But
sensors and
what
shit.
I'm saying is,
Oh,
instead of having
but
to
but
read it on the
but
computer, you could actually see with your eyes.
I get that. No, like I'm with you on that, but you took it to the level of actually like clicking on it and it's going to like fix itself, and like that's impossible. That's not
What
going to
I'm
happen.
saying is that they could see, and as instead of like having to guess where it's at, they could already see it before they open it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, that's just like like a schematic, a blueprint of seeing it, like X-ray vision. Like, yeah, I mean that technology in medical fields already. Actually, it extends to what you're saying, where they have robotics that'll actually do it for you,
Well,
and
yes,
it's damn flawless,
but
great for
but
for the medical field.
obviously this has been technology that we've had for 20 years. But what the reason why I'm talking about now is because this isn't just for big corporations or private business. This is going to be general public use.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge step. Like imagine going to school, all these kids have like the Google lens on,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they want to put
Mm-hmm.
on,
Mm-hmm.
and they could literally see an
Mm-hmm.
art class, Civil War, whatever, the Declaration being signed right in front of
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I mean that stuff is really cool, really amazing. I mean, they'll just have to they'll have to get that technology acted out, right, and distributed.
Well, that's the thing though, is that because like I said, because I'm not sure. Did you actually watch the Metaverse advertisement?
No, at least I don't think I did. I don't think
Because
I
the
did.
fact that they made it a real advertisement right now means they're ready to ship soon. And that's the crazy part. Like, obviously, we talked about the HoloLens before, how,
Mm-hmm.
doctors and generals would use it just to have like a 3D mapping of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they are going from HoloLens just for private use and advertising it for market, like you could buy it, I forgot what the device is called. It's something you attach to your glass, or it's like glasses you attach on and it just projects. But I'm like seeing this now in practical use reminds me so much of Blade Runner, and it's kind of creepy. It's like it's cool, but it's
Well,
creepy.
like going back to cars, like I guess like my car doesn't have it, but I think the car I have, I think the top model actually did have it, but where it projects, like, instead of having it like beyond your steering wheel column, it'll actually project shield, which I'm not really a fan of anyway. I feel like that would deter your driving, but it's kind of similar concept, right? Like
Mm.
projecting information for you, right? You know, right in front of your eyes. I mean, I think it's awesome. It's amazing, and like apply it to your in your sense with the classroom and the educational standpoint. I mean, that takes things to a whole new level. Um, hell, it might even make people go to school.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that with sex ed? Oh boy.
Oh.
Uh,
Well, it's funny that like I mentioned Blade Runner. Like, there's scenes in Blade Runner where people get like hacked and they see like a whole bunch of like spam advertisement of like
yeah.
porn and all that stuff, and I'm like, that could be a potential future that we see with these AR things being implemented. And also
Mm-hmm.
going back to AR is like, like I said, we had this debate. What do you think was going to take over VR, AR? I was always
Mm-hmm.
leaning AR because it's more practical to digitize your real world than to go into a digital world.
Mm-hmm.
And this almost confirms that VR is dead because AR is going to take over.
I wouldn't say dead. I mean, they're totally two different, really different. Although some people would suggest they're the same, but they're different technologies. And
Well,
I don't think
they're
VR
the
is dead.
same
I think
technology. Two sides of the same coin. That's what they really are. Just different heads. But because AR is more, how do you say it? Besides the word practical, more useful. That's why it's gonna probably take the market over than VR because it's more useful in real world scenarios than being plugged into just a headset.
I mean, to your point, we're seeing it, right? It's pretty much here in the live. Um, but I don't think that means VR is dead. I think VR is just such a challenge to. I think the problem with VR is it's also um, how can I put it? Dare I say it's stigmatized with gaming.
Well, this is where I'm glad you brought in gaming because Pokemon Go to me is the biggest beta test for AR I've ever seen in my life. Because the way you can actually upload real Pokemon to the real world and have it interact with actual objects, they've been
Well,
testing this for a while.
so I haven't. Well, like very little have been playing Pokemon Go because much like you and I we play only during events. But I remember them showcasing that I don't know what it would be called, like AR plus plus feature or whatever, where yeah the Pokemon can actually run around, and if it goes like behind something, it'll get cut off and back into the frame or whatever. I don't know if like my phone has the capabilities or not. Maybe I should try it. But like when I saw those trailers, I was like, man. And even to your point of like possibly interacting with each other, like it's almost like having that virtual pet but on steroids. Like with the exception of you being able to, right? Like it's like in your environment, right? So like, um, oh man, like I don't know what to say. Like it's really cool. It's not as it's not like scary like VR, but it's it's definitely interesting.
So, once again, I think it's cool for the usefulness of it. But
Mm-hmm.
my fear is, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, Blade Runner. You're gonna have corporations starting to advertise in real life, where if you have
Mm-hmm.
these things to use for like
Mm-hmm.
just normal use, you gotta pay a subscription not to have it, or they're just gonna spam like, oh, buy this, buy that, 30-minute advertisement before you use this again,
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna interfere again with normal day use.
100%. 100%. That's where the money's at. Money's not at selling the peripheral and buying content. Money's in advertising. 100%.
And that's the thing that sucks is like as much as I'm looking forward to this because I'm a futurist. I like technology. I also fear corporation greed, which you know is inevitable and it's going to happen. But
Yeah.
it's almost like don't ruin something that's really good for humanity.
Well, once again, it depends on where it's being utilized, right? Like in in the consumer standpoint, right? In our private lives, it's inevitable. It's going to be there. It's going to your point, require funds to not have it or whatever. But in the private settings, it's going to be non-existent, right? It
Mhm.
like there's no way in hell. Like once again, if I medical setting, there's no way in hell they're going to be doing like an open heart procedure and an advertisement pops up. Like not
Obvious,
going to happen.
yeah, obviously that. But you know,
So
just walking
so
around, you see in the corner of your eye, buy this now off
yeah,
Amazon.
like Arby's, we have the meat. Boom boom. So yeah, it's going to be applicable to the consumer, like
Yeah.
hands down.
But one,
Um,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was kind of done there.
I was gonna say the one thing that I do think is really cool with this technology being introduced is I know we've talked about this with the uh, what's the thing called where they implant into your ear so you can hear.
Hearing aid?
It's called something different, but it's like a hearing aid where people that are deaf can actually start hearing because of.
Oh yeah. I don't know what the. I know what you're talking about. I don't know
I,
what the exact peripheral is called.
yeah, but they have something like that now where
Mm-hmm.
they were doing with the Neuralink. It was beta testing, to rebuild nerves and all that stuff. But in Germany, they actually take this AR technology and they put a chip in the. I forgot. It's like somewhere near like your lobe area where the vision gets cut off, and instead of beaming images to your head, they get like a sensor to the side of your head that will take the image and just send it immediately to your head instead of them actually fixing your eyes. So you can see in your head what's in front of you because of that sensor, and it basically gives them artificial sight with this technology now. So basically, they're almost at the point where they can cure blindness.
Curing blindness, yeah.
Yeah.
That is fucking crazy. That's awesome.
Cochlear implants? I think that's what I don't know. I was trying to think of the one for the hearing ones, but I'm like, the fact that we're finally getting so close to curing these disabilities, like obviously hearing we just fixed, eyesight potentially on the horizon within the next 5 years of curing blindness, and then also with, like I said, the Neuralink rehabilitating nerves and muscles that were deteriorated or broken. I'm like, it's one of the greatest things I've ever heard in technology that they're actually giving people the ability to do just normal activities now.
Yeah, no, it is nothing short of amazing. I think to that point, it's amazing.
Wait,
like it's just so awesome.
it's just weird, like when you see it in like movies like Blade Runner or like Cyberpunk or Altered Carbon, like that sound like just sci-fi like 30, 20 years ago, even 15 years ago. It sounded like non-reality, and just rapid progression. Now we basically have it in our everyday lives. It still feels unreal to me. Like obviously AR, we see technology and we're like, oh, it's still in its like infant form, but like I said, the government and other corporations are still 20 years advanced than us. And I don't know. I can't wait to see what the next 20 years looks like for humanity, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of how do you call it, augmentations,
Yeah,
prosthetics that are going to be added to humans to make their lives better.
yeah. I mean, the prosthetics world is already huge, and I think I brought this up in a future. Brought it up in a future podcast, a past podcast. Like even like the what was it like? Was not the pacemakers, or was it the pacemakers? Oh no, the technology that could actually like just continuously assist the human heart to keep beating, and but
Lungs,
they're like,
kidneys.
yeah, exactly, like all that stuff to support organs, but like the technology is there, but it's not out there because they're afraid of, like how you're talking about even with the AR, like the possibility of hacking and stuff, like they need to know foolproof 110% that it's not hackable, and someone can't just hack and then stop the heartbeat and just kill somebody.
Well, speaking of like really cool augmentations, you probably heard of this. I think this happened like 2, 3 years ago. There was a soldier. I wish I knew his name. He served. He was in Afghanistan. He got his arm blown off from an IED because he's a bomb explosive expert or whatever, and he lost his arm. He got a artificial arm that he lost it at like the elbow, and what they did is they created a prosthetic that connects to his nervous system, and his robotic arm actually has sensors in his hand, so his artificial arm can actually feel and move like a normal arm because it's embedded and connected to
His nerves.
his nerves in his arm.
Did not don't think I did hear about that, but once again, that's just fucking fascinating. Like
Supposedly it's a
that.
prototype and it's still like locks up, but the fact that they can connect it to his nerves so he can get like artificial feel with sensors is pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. That it is. It's just.
That's a car. Dude, street
It's
races happen all the time here.
like, it's like, was that your stomach? like,
It'll be that soon.
did you say steak?
A1.
Yeah, dude. It's so amazing to hear these things, and to your point of, like, a movie, it's these sci-fi things that make people want to you know do those things, right? Like just mirror sci-fi, mirror fantasy. Like, I mean, it's not apples comparison, but like, the try to create real life like that. And they're successful to a degree, right? It's like it can cut through shit. um and it's really cool. Or the people that are now like in have like jetpacks and try to pretend to be Iron Man and flying around. Like it's so amazing. Art imitates life, and to your point of where I could guarantee you there's some crazy trying to figure out time travel. Who knows? Maybe it has been done, right?
Yeah, you would never know because they already altered it.
Exactly, right? And it's like, we already got the science that's cloning woolly mammoths and cloned sheep, and they're probably doing humans, as scary as that sounds. And I believe we might even talk about
Your mic is cutting out like really bad.
I'm just gonna keep talking. How it got how people are doing like the artificial. I guess they're artificial babies, but just splicing only the good parts of the DNA so that fucking family history issues.
It's funny that you say that because that was like one of the coolest things I heard is genetic splicing with inbred people. They're trying to correct their bloodline because of all the inbreeding, and so they use them as beta tests to correct gene splicing.
Yeah, it's so crazy, but also a little scary because like the argument all the time is like what religion and play God stuff, but like um the advances that come from it are just so crazy, so beneficial.
I still have this theory. You know the story of Adam and Eve? How you have
Mm-hmm.
they're the first humans. I still think that as humans, we've evolved to a point where we went interplanetary. There was somehow a huge, massive war, and Adam and Eve was basically the two survivors of this cataclysmic war from our civilization that reset itself by sending them to this planet so we could restart again as a species.
So like wasn't that the ending of Knowing?
I don't know. I meant there's probably a movie just like that, but I'm just like, it makes sense that as a species, like, we probably had this knowledge before, but because we got too greedy, we probably killed ourselves, and we had to restart this way.
I think that was like the ending to Knowing, which is why I liked it so much because that concept, dare I say, like kind of makes sense a little bit
But knowing
because
had
like
an alien take, two children,
exactly
though.
exactly, but for that reason because the world was going to end, so they put them along with some other children, right, on a new planet like Earth, so the human race could continue.
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept,
Yeah.
but it's a unique one, and also like a very good person could sit here and argue that because like when you talk about like all the different pyramids and stuff there, right, and it's like, well, how do they all point to the same star constellation and there are different parts, Pangea kind of explains that a little bit, but like, oh, maybe aliens help, like, you get a good person that could argue it, they could argue it and make you start believing it, right? So like
I hate to say it, but the more I think about it, the less I believe in aliens. I believe that there's life forms on other planets, but more like animalistic life forms or bacterial life forms.
right.
But I feel like we are the internet or
We're
interplanetary
the superior
species.
species, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Because
agree. That I forgot who I talked to. Did we talk about that? I remember I talked about that with somebody,
I'm
and I said that was my theory
but if
as well.
like one of the things that with archaeologists they've been discovering like pyramids in like Egypt or Peru and all that stuff. They all had connections with each other, but there was like I forgot what they said, but there was a actual oh god, what's it called? There was a natural an anomaly that happened where a volcano happened, a tsunami happened that wiped out two parts of the two major continents that had like 70% of the world, and that's where our technology got lost, is because during this natural catastrophe, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's where we had to reset ourselves back to like the Stone Age.
I mean, once again, theories galore.
Well,
Um,
it's not a theory because they actually have evidence. Like if you look at like Mexico, where they had that massive drought and fire, and if you look at Egypt, where it was actually a green area at one point, but because of heat and the volcanic ash that travels even to Russia, it shows that the whole place was destroyed by a super volcano that probably happened in Italy.
I gotta brush up on that stuff, but I mean, it's you're right. There's like scientific evidence, but still, like, it's not concrete factual because there's still theories. Like
Yeah.
even Pangea is a theory.
Well, no,
Like, is
Pangea
there
is real
is
because you
there
can see right
well
now in real time
well
the continents are moving in real time. Like it's our Earth is
it's
a living planet that actually evolves and moves.
no, I understand that, but like, I mean, just like flat Earth people, there's people that don't believe. I believe in a lot of these things because, to your point, there's the scientific evidence, but there's a lot of people that don't believe in stuff.
Well,
So
they
like with
don't.
Pangea, there's people that don't believe in that, but like to your point, like there's just geographical locations you could obviously see they fit together like a puzzle. Like
Well, not only that, you can actually observe in real time if you go, like if you're in the U.S., you go to Yellowstone, you can see active volcanoes happening, forming new landmass. That's how
yeah,
land
I
moves
know
with new landmass happening.
that's how land births, so to speak.
Yeah, so that's not like a faith thing. That's an actual,
No,
a physical thing you can see right there and then. So that just proves right there that it's that's what happened.
no, I'm with you. I'm just saying, like, there's people that don't agree, but that's why I say everything's a theory because you know, not everybody believes in something. So, or the same thing, I should say.
We call those the crazies.
Those the crazies. We call those Tom Cruises.
Well, speaking of Tom Cruise, which is really funny. So I'm not sure if you knew this is going to go a little off topic with the future, but because of everything that's happening with Russia and China, the nuclear treaty being broken, now an arms race is being put up again. So in the movie Top Gun, they actually hid a top secret aircraft, the one that goes like Mach 5 speeds or whatever. It's in the beginning of Top Gun. I forgot the name of it. So that is an actual ship that exists in real life, and they just revealed it recently that it's like the new version of the Blackbird that was built in the 1960s and is now the world's current fastest aircraft. And they showed that in Top Gun, and everybody was like, "Oh, that can't be real. That can't be real," until the government just leaked it, and they basically hid it in plain sight that this is a real thing. I thought that was funny that they chose a Tom Cruise movie to reveal it.
That's funny.
Let me see. I gotta figure out what the thing's called, but it's just weird. Like I said, the government's always 20 years in the future. Like flat screens they probably had in like the 1980s. Now with this new bird, let me look. Top Gun, Mach, and Mach 10 plane. That's what it's called. It's called the Dark Star. The Dark Star is the current fastest thing.
Not the Death Star.
No, the what was it called? Was it called the Blackbird? I think the Blackbird was the one from 1960s, and now the Dark Star, or whatever they call it now, is the current fastest one that could reach like Mach speeds. I just thought that was hilarious that they, like you said, life imitates art, but what happens if it's the other way around? Where we've already had that, and the media is just giving you little bits so you can get ready for what's going to happen next.
Well, to your point of being like decades ahead, like they probably just revealed it because, like, oh yeah, we don't care about that anymore. we can't let you know what the new stuff is.
Yeah, we're going to show you what we had 20 years ago. We're working on something else, but this is what we have now. We can go Mach 10 already.
Yeah. It's really amazing. Like, the things we don't know in this world, I guess, right?
Dude, one of the craziest things, and this is going to go back to maybe Trump talking nonsense, but also Obama kind of mentioned this too. So we have satellites in the air that have containing like these mini missiles that can level a continent. I forgot what they called it. I think they call it like Thor or Odin, whatever. And I'm like, dude, thinking about it sounds fake, but I'm like, we probably have missiles that can level an entire area.
Well, look at 100. Of course, look at nukes.
Well, yeah, but nukes on an even grander scale, like that doesn't have nuclear radiation, just pure impact of a blast radius, just leveling a whole entire landscape without the radiation downfall, radiation effect.
Yeah, it's fucking scary, but yeah, I agree. It probably does exist.
Because like if you look at our what's it called?
That's only if cordyceps gets out of hand.
Oh, so did you actually look at that thing with the fungus?
I don't know. I don't know anything what you're talking about.
Okay, well there's.
I was making it into a joke.
Shut up, government. The government's listening, and they heard me talking about the new aircraft.
So that's why our podcast keep getting taken down.
Yes, Google, stop censoring me. But no, so for people that don't know, there's, I mean, it's been going around for 2 years, but I guess because now it's ramping up with elderly people and people having like lower body temps, that's like lethal. It doesn't like make you a zombie. It just takes over your body, kills your insides, and then you die. And
we call that cancer.
Yeah, but this is from actual like fungus. So it's kind of weird that Last of Us came out and now we're seeing more ramping ups of these fungi infections actually killing older people because of lower body temps. Kind of weird. But I'm like, maybe it's the media trying to get us ready for the next thing that comes out.
Well, as long as these elderly people don't turn into like super zombies, I think we'll be all right.
Dude, if there's any zombies to happen, I want Walking Dead zombies. I could survive that. Give
Yeah,
me
I think
Resident.
most could. Yeah, no, I think most could.
Resident Evil, no, that I would die instantly. They would
Well,
outrun me. They would outpower me.
well, so the problem with Resident Evil, I guess, is continuity because the original games were like classic zombies. It wasn't until like the new generation of like I think probably honestly probably like 4 is when it started when they kind of started being more like super esque.
No, one had mutated zombies. It was the dogs. The dogs had
True,
that mouth
true.
that shot out.
True. I'll give you that. The dog's definitely more agile, but I'm talking about straight.
Yeah, with the humans, it was just pure zombies. But
Yeah.
the dogs, man, if the beasts were infected, oh, I'd be gone in a minute. They would just go, and I'd be like,
Not,
infected.
not to mention the other things that were being infected. Like I think 2 was the one that had the crocodile or the alligator.
Oh yeah, with the sewer, yes.
And the shark. I don't know if that was 2 or 3, but yeah, I mean it could happen to other. But we'll keep it strictly humans. Yeah, Resident Evil. Not. I say they had a continuity issue, but with reasoning, I guess. But to that point, it's because depends which ones you're talking about.
Well, the modifications for the human zombies make sense because, like I said, it's a bio disease that they purposely modified to enhance humans, but instead it had the opposite effect on the zombies that caused what they had were.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, when I said continuity issue, I kind of obviously came off like a really negative fashion, but like they had their reasons as to why it was portrayed that way. Um, but the reason why I brought it up is like, okay, well, which ones you talking about, the earlier one or the later one?
Yeah.
But yeah, like since we're kind of now trying not to go too sidetracked, but since we're on the like mini subject, if there were to be something like that to happen, scientifically, how do you think they would actually react?
So, if there is an actual like zombie outbreak, I think obviously there's a lot of people on this planet, but even though I don't trust the government because obviously they try to conceal information, they're very good at containing. Because like if they don't want something to spread, they know how to isolate. They know how to track patterns. They know how to enclose off an area and check you and scan you. It's been proven before with Ebola and some of the other stuff that's been spread out, like that.
I would say they did a piss poor job with COVID.
Well, if we want to go back to theories, I think COVID was a accidental bioweapon released, and that's
Okay,
where it caused.
we'll leave it as that, but let's continue our other part.
But I have faith that we have a lot of experts where if something truly was like humanity ending, we have a we have a government that's really smart on how to contain things if they truly wanted to. Okay. And that's where I'll put my faith.
So I mean, thank you for your piece, but that wasn't the answer to my question. I guess my question, if I may restructure it, if a zombie type of outbreak were to happen, like let's say zombies become a real thing, would they be the slow zombies or would they be the super zombies?
So if it's a natural virus like a fungus or some kind of thing, it would be slow zombies. If it's a bioengineered virus, then I can see mutated stuff like super sprint, no asthma, whatever. Mm-hmm. I think it just depends on how it's released.
Okay, good answer. I concur with your assessment. Because I mean, the reason why is like look at what drugs do to people. They make them superhuman, right? So like,
well, you can see now what natural ones like zombie seahorses, zombie ants from fungal infections or parasites. They're just walking corpses that don't really have any other purpose besides to pass on that infection to another being, and that being that it passed on to just immediately decomposes and dies.
Exactly.
So that's why I would say it'd be like more Walking Dead zombies, which is super slow. They're just looking for a way the parasite or bacteria, or whatever, is just looking for another host to survive in.
True, I agree. Okay.
But so wait. Before we move on.
Okay.
If we had a zombie apocalypse, and I'm talking about the Walking Dead one, because let's be honest, if we had the Resident Evil one, none of us would survive. But if you had the Walking Dead one, what would you get first? A suit of armor and a sword, or a gun and a A Kevlar vest.
Sword.
I'd go sword and armor too, because I
Yeah,
feel
because
like
you're gonna run out of ammo unless you like who we were talking before. Unless you learn how to shit, then you go with the weapon. But no, yeah, sword.
yeah,
You turn into Michonne very
that
quickly.
yeah, that's what I was saying too. I'm like, Michonne really did understand the world the best. Like, she understood how to camouflage herself with the zombies, and she also realized that the only thing that could break a sword is if you chip it too much or if you let the blood rust a sword. And she kept on prepping her sword.
Wipe and explain, yeah,
Yeah. So I'm like,
yeah,
she had it right. She just needed to
yeah,
wear some more leather or some armor.
yeah, yeah. No doubt, no doubt.
Because I keep hearing people like, oh, I'm going to get a gun. I'm going to get a gun. I'm like, guns are cool, but those are for the humans.
Yeah, they're the equalizer
Yeah. Swords are for the zombies. Guns are for the humans.
for sure. But
but part two of
so
this, where would you
okay, yeah,
hold
go
up
ahead.
though? Like, let's say if
I
you
mean,
had a
yeah.
hold up, would it be like a school? Would it be a mall? Would it be your
So
house?
yeah, no, good question. Like where I'm at now, it would not be where like it wouldn't be apartment. Now, if I still owned my condo, it would have been my condo because I've actually, dare I say, fantasized about that a couple of times. Like I would do it, I guess, old school and create a rope of like bed sheets off my balcony to climb up and down with, and I would totally barricade the front door. I would only leave in and out through the balcony. Like, dude, I had a, dare I say, master class in
If I came
my
across you in your stronghold, I would have bombed your foundation so you could fall.
well, as if you had that equipment, but let's be honest.
You see me down there chip away the chisel and hammer. I'm like, damn you, you're gonna fall.
like you're instead of breaking out of a jail, you're like breaking into a building trying to make it collapse. Um, yeah, so I think I would do that. Of course, that up and fucked, but you know, being on that top level, I think that added so much security in its own right anyway. So that would have been my plan there. But now that I'm not there, I would go out to where my parents are first to check up on, and if they are, then probably establish base they're at. Um, it's kind of funny because they're in a little kind of looks like a lot of these apocalyptic shows. um, so I feel like that would be the route. But if God forbid, if like, you know, dead, whatever, um, then I don't know. I really don't know.
So
I'll
from
probably try to fit in with a colony that's going to be very shady and do bad things.
gotta suck some dick to stay alive.
Hell no.
But like, I've thought about this too. Like, so if I was forced to stay local, there's three places I would do.
You definitely do not want to stay local, but continue.
So one would be the school in my area because one, it has a green roof, so that means no, listen.
Oh no, you no, keep going. I'm something else popped in my head that I'm not going to say, but just continue.
So the school has all around. It has a lot of place to grow things. Also, if you want to and you want to be really safe, you can grow vegetation on top of the roof. It's meant to grow things on there. Also, it has a well, because it's connected to the park district. There's actually a water filtration system connected to the lake, but then also to the water main for the city. So one, you got water, constant water going from two different sources. Three has a generator, a backup generator that runs off electricity and gas. That's also just a big place to lock down. So that would be one of the places. Second would either be what's it called? Not Chicago Ridge. Uh, what's the mall next to me?
Ford City.
Ford City, yes, because it has an underground passage. If I would,
Mm-hmm.
if I was to bring people in, they would sleep there. We would have both sides, west and east, locked down at the entrance. We would have the whole shopping mall area for like planting foods inside.
For looting.
For looting, planting food, and then we'd also have the parking lot to plant more stuff there. And then we also have like a huge open terrain so we could see people coming from all sides. But if I was to go far away and travel, I would go to Alaska. And the
Long
reason,
hike.
yes, it is. But if I'm trying to survive, I would want to go to Alaska because it's common knowledge that viruses and all that stuff don't do well in cold. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go there, it would slow down the spread. you're isolated, and you only have to worry about the people.
Yeah, and so like both of your initial answers though, um, are dependent on you associating with other people versus by yourself.
The school I could
So
lock down by myself. The the,
okay,
no, seriously.
have fun with that. That's a tall order,
A
sir.
lot of people a lot of people wouldn't think about that school. They would go to like the hospital or the mall or whatever. But if I was to build a colony, it'd be the mall. And then I'd probably have a faction war with the person that takes over the hospital.
No, the school would actually be a good colony spot too, hands down. But like, for you to lock down it all by yourself is like that
Well, the
is.
reason why I wouldn't want to fortify the school if I was going to have a colony is because if I was to be invaded, there would be a lot of places where invaders could hide. They could go between the
Exactly.
trees and push up on you. That's why
Well,
I
not
would
even
not.
just external, but internally. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of ground to fortify yourself by yourself. I mean, but if you had help, it would be an ideal place. Sure.
Well, the school, the reason why I say you could do it by yourself is because from side to side you can see both entrances, and if you know when somebody comes in, you can pinpoint exactly
But
where they are right
but an
away.
entrance is not just a door, Josh.
I know you got windows,
Every
but I'm saying that you, because
exactly.
of the radius around you, you have
Hmm.
immediate access to information if somebody
Which
tries to
which
intrude.
which is why the Fort City one is a lot more better for sure.
Yeah, but that's if I was building a colony because it's more open.
I honestly I would think vice versa. The Fort City one would be easier with you people because to your point, you just need security on both ends. Everything in the middle, you do not have to worry about at all. Versus school, you have doors at every single window in existence. Not just so, but
All
so
I know is
like
I'm having all out war with Christ Hospital, the Mary Hospital, and the little company Mary. All those three, I'm having a war with all three of them, taking over their medicine.
uh local Walgreens where I'm in now. Man, see, it would be tough for me. Um, I would have that would be the first places I would probably have to hit up because my asthma, like I'm gonna need a long supply, a lifetime supply of inhalers just in case. Because without that, I'm eventually fucked.
You see, that's the reason why I don't choose medical places because I feel like everybody would automatically go to the medical place, and that's where the
Oh,
fighting will start right away.
100%.
That's why you got to wait for the
There,
winter to come out all slow, and you got to pick them off there.
but the reason being is because you have to hit those first. Because if you don't, it's going to be slim pickings. And
No.
if you're someone like me that's dependent, or someone that needs insulin, for example,
Well, if you
they're
need
going to.
insulin, you're already fucked. Or just kill yourself then.
I mean, whatever. There's other ones too. Yeah, it would be very very difficult to survive an extended period of time
Yeah.
without those meds. Um, I guess thankful for me, it's just at this point in my time in my life, it's just an inhaler, and it's not like I need it every day either. But knowing that there can be a chronic attack in which I will need it to survive.
If there's ever a incident where this happens, you and I will sit outside the Walgreens as a perimeter. We'll let them fight out originally, and whoever the winner is that emerges is going to be already tired, and we just kill the winner, and we take all the loot. It's going to be like a battle royale. We're just going to wait for the fighting to stop.
But but
Whoever
but
comes out, we just cap them, take their stuff, and move on.
but the other additional thing is you just also don't want to take what you need yourself. You actually want to
Oh,
hoard as much as possible because you
yeah,
want to barter in the future, or at least you hope to barter in the
yeah.
future. So
Well, obviously that's why you want to wait until the winner gets out, and then you take everything from them. Everything. When I mean everything, I'm talking everything, even the
toilet
popsicles.
paper and all.
Popsicles.
All right, but anyway, we went off track, but track. um, is there anything else you'd like to add to the metaverse?
No,
Okay,
I actually was gonna segue
or
to
at
the
least bring it
second
to, or
topic.
bring it to closure. Oh,
Yeah,
okay. You just want to segue right into it?
yeah, because
Okay.
originally with the Resident Evil one, I was actually gonna segue to the second one, but we got
Oh,
way
okay.
off topic.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
It's all
But
good.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Then yeah, no, it is a good segue. But with that said, our next topic, and unfortunately our final topic, but it's been a very fruitful podcast in my opinion, um, is remake or remaster. They may sound very similar, but they are very extremely different. And reason being is Josh could add on to this, but you know, there's a lot of it going on, and one of the most popular ones, video game, is Resident Evil 4 has been getting damn near perfect or exactly perfect ratings, right? Awesome. I think I was on the fence with it, more getting it, but now I'm going to. Um, so I'll let you kind of piggyback and take it from there, Josh.
So I heard about 5 seconds of what you said, but I'm gonna say
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
So the reason why I put this up is because one, Resident Evil, but then also The Last of Us. People obviously we've had this topic before where we would rather see new content than remasters or remakes, but because of things like Final Fantasy VII, Last of Us Part One, and Resident Evil 4, people seem to not really care as long as the. I just corrected myself on this one recently. I thought the remake was just reporting the original. A remake is doing the game but making it better with new mechanics, story, and whatever. So
Exactly.
people are actually wanting remakes because if they can enhance the story, make the original better, then they should take the opportunity, like they have with Final Fantasy VII, Last of Us One, and now Resident Evil.
Correct. I think that's what I was trying to tell you last time. But anyhow, yeah, like I mean, I think we always want sequels, right? Or maybe even some people want prequels. But we want newer for sure. But I think when it comes to these popular franchises or even popular um, chapters in franchises, I think everybody's in favor. Everybody's in re examined or replayed or whatever. Um, Metroid was another one, by the way. But yeah, like which one I prefer? Now that's a good question. That's a tough, because in my heart of hearts, if the original already, dare I use the word, a master to some regard, I think then I just want to remaster. However, if the remake is better, but you don't know until you experience it, I guess it's like even better then, right? Like it was unanticipated, but you were happy with it. So it's like a double. Um, so like yeah, it's hard for me to pick. But what about you?
I'm still trying to piece together a lot of things we said.
Oh,
For some reason, like you're really cutting out, but I think I kind of got the gist of it. For me, I think it really depends. Like I know you said something about if the original was a masterpiece, so they really need to change it. But then on the other hand, if they make it better, then do it. But
mm-hmm.
it's a big gamble. But it seems like people are more in favor for remakes and remasters because seeing Metroid Prime, even though it sold a lot of copies, people are saying that it doesn't really justify the what was it, $60, $30? Is it $50 or
I
$60?
I thought it was 40,
Yeah, people are
but
saying that because it's just a upscaled version of the game and it doesn't really add anything more to it, it should have probably been $29 or like $30 or $25, whatever. And I think because all these games are getting remakes nowadays, they're like at this point, if you're gonna redo a game, just add more to it and just completely redo the engine that it has. And it seems like I think I got this question from Reddit because, like I said, people are looking at Resident Evil 4 that
mm-hmm.
just came out, I think today, right?
It might have been today. Yeah,
So
it
even
might have been today.
so even though a lot of people are loving Resident Evil 4, there's also complaints that because of how do you say it, the engine quality is better. They didn't change the story in the way that is justified with the price. And they're like, at this point, why are you calling it a remake if you're just redoing an engine?
Well, I think what it really boils down to is how big of a project it was, right? Like I think a remake is going to take a lot more resources, a lot more time, payroll to get done, which is why that price point is at. isn't really requiring that large of a team to remaster. It's more like a like I have this 1080p video that I'm gonna re-upload. Like it's kind of what you're doing with it.
Yeah, and it's
in a nutshell. So it's taken less resources, which, to your point, in theory, should always be much cheaper. Usually they are. Like Crisis Core is another example. Although I would put that more in a remake than remaster, because I felt like it did probably take a lot more resources to make. But they still put that one in a $40. I thought was like really a shock.
but it's just crazy. Like to me, the line always gets blurred with remaster versus remake. Like for example, like I said, for Resident Evil 4, it's considered a remake, even though they didn't change anything to the story. It's just the engine they changed. That's what's classified as a remake, even though like Last of Us Part 1 for the PS3 to PS4, that was a remastered, because all they did was just upscale. But then the one for the PS5 is an actual remake, because they didn't just remaster the engine and create new what's it called, animation models, but they also changed some of the story too. To me, that counts as a real remake. But Resident Evil 4, I'm not sure if you can really call that a remake if it's just a visual overhaul of the engine.
No, I think it's still a remake, even though if the actual story is verbatim, one for one, exactly the same. I mean, they legit built that from the ground back up. That's why. I mean, it's totally a remake.
I'm trying to hold on. Sorry, remake.
Like I think when we're talking about remakes here, like to your point, it can be um segued into two different. It could go down two. It could make story altered changes, and it could be, it's obviously remake when there is, because you're totally remaking, retelling of. But if it doesn't change the way like this game is built from the ground up, like totally new, it's totally remake.
So so I actually just remembered why I brought this up, because like I said, I got this off of Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the advertising lines are getting so blurred between remake and remaster,
Mm-hmm.
but I also forgot that there's a third option, a reboot. So,
Well,
would you consider Final Fantasy VII a reboot or a remake?
ooh, well, at this stage, it's hard to tell. Like
Because
right now,
it
right
seems like it's a
now,
reboot.
right now, it's, in my opinion, it's a remake. But when the second one comes out and how it unfolds, it totally could be a reboot. 100%.
And it's
Well,
just,
I think it's a little unknown at this stage.
but the one thing I love about like these video game companies is that they always like market it weirdly. It's like, oh yeah, we're remaking or remastering. I'm like, are you
Mm-hmm.
really doing that? Are you rebooting? And then I also at the same time, what's God? Sorry, I'm blanking on these words. There's a whole bunch of stuff.
Just start
Um,
with re, and maybe it'll come to you.
no, oh yeah,
Remaster.
that's the thing. And then also, they have like the definitive edition where it's like, isn't the definitive the same thing as remastered, but they're saying it's different? I'm like,
Definitive is like director's cut. Like, yeah, those. I think definitive edition, what those are is like, because they might do with FF15 again. Um, definitive editions usually you're getting the base game and all the. That's your definitive edition. Something you should fucking. That's all that is. In my world, now you may give me a different example on the edition, but that's what I usually attribute it towards.
so just in case your mic cuts out again, I'm gonna try to repeat what you said because I didn't hear it. Did you say definitive edition means that it's upscaled and it comes with all the DLC that came out with the original game? That's what you count as definitive.
Yes.
I would agree with that. In my opinion, that is the definitive edition where you get the complete experience all in one.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I've seen games that call themselves a definitive edition and they only they're remastered. And I feel like there's like certain labels of titles for games that just
I think
overutilize.
I think then they're probably, they could be confusing themselves. So there kind of is blurred lines, but yeah, I don't know.
So to go to the second part, because I feel like I'm losing a lot of the in between conversation because the cutoff on my end. So obviously we're talking about reboots, remakes, and remasters. Is there a game that you would love to see remastered, or remade?
I knew this was going to be the second part of the
Because
question.
I have my
uh,
3 games.
okay.
I would love to see the Ultimate Alliance rebooted and remade. I would love to see Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 remastered. And when I say remastered, I'm talking about like the only thing I need is just upscaled graphics to like Kingdom Hearts 3 and maybe just fine tuning of the combat abilities. Everything else would just leave the same. And then remake, if I was just to get engine only remake, every the story the same, I would want Halo, the Halo series, like Master Chief,
Hmm.
up until Halo Reach with Halo Infinite's engine.
Um, for me, number one is going to probably be a no-brainer. Um, and it would be a remake.
Okay.
But I I want to say it in a way like it. How can I put this? I want to say I prefer remaster, but I'm not against a remake only if it kind of stays true as a remaster, if that makes sense. Like with storyline and Ocarina of Time. I think that one, much like FF7, is probably on the over list, and maybe Nintendo will someday.
Wait, hold on. I
Uh,
just want to catch it. You said you want Ocarina of Time remastered or remade?
well, I think ultimately remake,
Okay.
but story wise, I want it to still be true and true. But the reason why I chose remake is because if we get like added side stories or something, like I'm all for that.
That'd be
Does
cool.
that
Yeah.
does that make sense? Yeah. Uh, but the main story I want true and true.
Dude,
Um,
imagine. Well, sorry, not to take off your train of thought too much,
mhm,
but you saying Ocarina of Time remastered or remade.
mhm.
Imagine they show 3 different endings leading to each of the timelines. Like,
Depending on how you played it.
yeah, like if you did it this way, it will lead to Breath of the Wild timeline. If you play it this way, it'll lead you to the young Link timeline, whatever.
Actually, that's phenomenal, and who knows? Maybe that's how they do.
Because that'd be cool. Like, it would just give you like a little
They'll
glimpse into that direction.
yeah, like they'll show the whole Hyrule flood and turn into Wind Waker. Dude,
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
yeah.
So Nintendo, once again, if you listen to our podcast, anyway, that's probably definitely number one. It's probably one on a lot of people's list. I don't really have an order, but if I could go through, Final Fantasy VI, I would love, absolutely fucking love if they do it with Octopath graphics. Like,
What?
yes, yes, yes,
Interesting.
yes, yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Seeing Tifa in 2.5D doesn't cut it for me.
No, no, maybe I cut off. You didn't hear me. FF6.
Yeah, wasn't was she in 8?
Tifa's 7, dude.
No, she's either in 6 or 8 as well.
No, 8 is, I think her name's Renoa or something.
She's a captive on the ship.
I
I'm
didn't
gonna
I
have to
didn't
look this
play.
up. I swear Tifa's in one of the other games, but keep going.
No, dude, Tifa's only in 7, and probably maybe Kingdom Hearts. Um, FF6 female characters is named Terra, Celis. Well, those are probably the adult ones, but there's other female characters. Anyways, FF6, I would absolutely love to see that in Octopath graphics. Give me 2D HD. That would be that'd be a wet dream. Also Final Fantasy Tactics. I'd like to see.
The one that got canceled?
Hmm? It got canceled.
Yeah, isn't it the wait? What was the? Oh no, First Soldier's the one that got canceled, right?
Oh yeah, that was on the phone. That was yeah,
Okay,
that was
my bad.
7.
I was thinking about the
No,
other one.
no. Final Fantasy Tactics is PS1, and I think they even had it on Game Boy Advance. But that's what that game was. It was like a triangle path strategy game. Triangle path, just triangle strategy. So I would like to see, I guess you say, Final Tactics in um triangle strategy graphics. So pretty much that would be a remaster then. Um,
Oh, you're right. Her name is Renoa. It looks a lot
um,
like Tifa. I don't like it.
yeah, she kind of does actually.
That's why I was mistaken.
She's a ripoff.
She's a
Um,
phony.
Bounty. What else? Those are three that have always been on my mind for a while. Um, I'm gonna go a little deep here. Give me Super Mario Brothers 3 in Super Mario World graphics. I would be fine with that. That it's a small increase, but I would eat that shit up. um, let's see, what other ones can I think of? Um, I think those last three were pretty much remasters. I mean, what would I want for a remake? A true and true remake.
Did you say a reboot yet?
No, I haven't said a
Okay.
reboot.
Oh, I thought the remake was Zelda.
Well, remake would be Zelda, yeah.
Okay.
But like, I was trying to think of another one, like, but maybe like a drastic one where I wouldn't care about the story changing. Is I guess I kind of want to think. But I don't know if I have one. Because usually the games I'm passionate about, like I'm passionate about it because I liked it the way it is, right? Um, hmm.
Have you ever played Aladdin on the SNES?
Yeah, I
I'll,
think I actually played it on Sega, but it's the same game.
I would love to see that remade with like a more like a
Interesting.
Crash Bandicoot engine where it's like a 3D model but still 2D side scroller
Or
platforming.
or like a cell shaded side scroller.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. They could do that with like almost every Disney game in that era. Um, hmm. Oh, I got one. Give me a fucking remake of Chrono Trigger.
So I was under the impression that they were actually remastering Chrono Trigger. Apparently, the only thing they did was just brought it from PS1 to PS5 with the same, it's just a PS1 port on the
So that's just
PS5.
a yeah, I would say that's just a port.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
so
because you could,
baited by that. I was like, oh, I thought it was
cause,
coming to PS5.
yeah, because you could also download it on Steam too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, give me a remake. Like give, man, it's like, could they do that like with FF7?
It's
No, they
funny
probably
that you
would do
say that
that.
though,
But
because from the 1 Hour One Decision podcast, Chris and Tom. Tom's I think it's Tom, maybe it was Chris's game, but I believe Tom's favorite game was Chrono Trigger, and I asked him the same question: would you like to see it remastered? He said no, he would not want to see it remastered or remade. Uh, oh, how do you feel
I
about
I
that?
I disagree. That's all. I disagree. I would love to see it remade, but I would not be upset with a remaster.
So what would so you're saying that you want to see a remade version, not a remastered, but if a remastered happened, you wouldn't be disappointed or you wouldn't be
No, not
upset?
at all. No, not at all.
What happens if you
I,
booted it?
once again, a reboot is it's tricky. I would go into it open minded, and if I'm not, then I'll be upset. I mean, it's as simple as that.
So I have this weird question because I played Chrono Trigger, but I don't remember much of it. All I remember is the character styles. Did you ever get into Dragon Quest?
No, no, never got into that series.
Because to me they look very identical with the characters, and I'm not sure how the gameplay, but they look identical with the characters.
No, I understand what you're saying. That era, um, that was like that era, right? It's almost like, you know, 70s is hippie, whatever disco. I don't know. Like it was that era. That was the art style, right? Um, so yeah, I could see why you think that and you see that, and rightfully so. So I don't know if I answered your question, but
No, you did. So my final part for this one, before I segue into my other part, is there a remake, reboot, or remaster that you wish never happened that did happen?
ooh,
Because I know for me, and this is
ooh,
weird,
mm,
it's The Last of Us Part One.
interesting.
And I hate to say that because from what I've seen, I don't own the game, but from what I've seen, the gameplay looks like Last of Us Two, which is good. The Last of Us Two gameplay was perfect, but for some reason, the remastering of the engine or whatever kind of throws the characters off my mind. Like I still picture the old characters, but seeing
Mm,
the new ones just feels off to me. And I know this is a
interesting.
personal preference, not an
Mm-hmm,
actual like. It doesn't make a game bad. No, it's just a weird
mm-hmm.
personal preference of mine that it looks worse, even though it's better actually.
I think I have an answer for you, but I don't know if I'm like really um how can I put it, like really upset about it. But I remember being very psyched about, I think it was on the Wii, and I don't know if this would, I think this would be a remaster. Donkey Kong Country.
Ooh, actually, I take back my Last of Us one. That country was bad.
Yeah, I was kind of hyped and looking forward to redo it, and I don't know why it just didn't feel the same.
Is that the one that replaced Diddy Kong with the female Kong as the second main character?
No, no, I don't think so.
For some reason,
No,
I
I think
remember
they,
the Wii one like replacing like Diddy Kong was still there, but like the female
I,
Kong was
I
more.
think, I think they were in it, and also Kitty Kong, but they were like extras, like unlockables. I think, but don't quote me.
I forgot one game now that we're talking about it when you were talking about the two Kongs. Um, words correlation. I would love to see any of them. I don't care what it is. Reboot, remaster, remake. Shaolin Monks.
Mm,
Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I would love to see that in PS5, Xbox Series X, PC, updated graphics. Doesn't matter what characters they are. I don't care. It could be Kung Lao, Liu Kang, Sub Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, Shao Kahn. I don't care who it is. Just give me that gameplay style again, and I want it.
no, I'm down with that. That was can we call that an underrated game?
Oh, it was it. So, is a cult classic an underrated game that had like the following that it had loved it, but it just wasn't generally uh, praised, or it wasn't mainstream praised?
I mean, I would think so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll call it underrated because the people that played it, they loved it. It's just unfortunately it didn't go into the
Yeah.
mass market and get popular.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Um. Let's see what else. This is. I actually like this topic a lot. Um. I'm trying to think of another one that shouldn't have been a remake. But yeah, the one that came to my mind, dare I say immediately, what was that one? Kind of left a little sour taste in my mouth. Like I was so anticipated for it, and I'm like, yeah, they probably shouldn't have done that. Hmm.
While you're thinking, I will say one of the reboots that surprised me the most has definitely been Doom.
Hmm.
Like the story from Doom 1 to Doom Eternal is very good. The gameplay, the graphics,
I,
everything about it is great.
I do have another one. I don't know how much anybody would agree with this one, and it might be just a personal one me, but the re-release, or I guess this would be the remaster of GoldenEye 00, which I think was also on the
Wait,
memory serves me
what do
correct.
you say remaster? You talking about the ones that are basically ports from?
No, 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 no. That so that's I would say that's just like a re-release, not a remaster. No, seriously, that's exactly what it
I
is.
would agree with that.
A port is a re-release.
I would
No,
agree with
no,
that.
this was a remaster. It was I'm almost positive it was on the Wii. Like like the build for it, people were excited and everything. Like someone shitting my cereal. So so I think that would probably shouldn't have been done, but they tried.
Oh, it was on the Wii.
It was on the
Wow.
Wii, right? Yeah,
2007, that's when it came out.
yeah, yeah. I remember because like we're kind of hyped, and yeah, it wasn't the same.
Oh, I'm wrong. It came out wow. This is a late Wii game. It came out in 2010.
Mm,
That sucks. I could see a lot of negative review. Oh, it's also oh, that's why it didn't do so well. So looking at the studio, it came from Eurocom, that was by Activision, that immediately failed
mm,
afterwards. So this is
mm,
during the Activision put whatever you can
eh,
out right now,
mm,
and they want to mass port it. This is what Call of Duty had the same issue, where they put on the Wii, Nintendo DS, PlayStation 3, and 360. And what they did was they took the PS3 version and just kept on downscaling instead of recoding it for each of the systems. That's why I played so bad.
mm. Yeah, so that would be definitely another one. Um, I don't know how well it did, and this may be something you could answer. and I think we even brought this game up very briefly last week. The remake of Killer Instinct on Xbox. Now, I played it very briefly, and I enjoyed my little play with it, but I don't think it did too well.
So when it came out, because Killer Instinct Arcade or Gold, whatever they remaster was called, was
Mm-hmm.
a launch shot for the Xbox One. It was a huge success for like 7 years straight.
Really?
The community was super strong. Like if you think of like Gears 4, Halo, or like Mortal Kombat communities, they were that tight where people were launching their own tournaments. They were doing their own Twitch stuff. There was a guy called Sign no CDM the third that was basically like the head leader at that time. He was
Mm-hmm.
doing Killer Instinct stuff. Yeah, it was huge for a while. Like it was the only fighting game that Xbox had, so of course they're gonna
I,
buff it up.
yeah. Okay. Never mind. So that was maybe a bad example. Uh,
But they
like I said,
stopped updating it 3 years into the game. The community kept
mm,
it going for as long as they could.
mm, okay. Um,
While you're
I don't know. I think
thinking,
I think.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. No, no. I was gonna actually like almost throw in the towel. I think we
I was gonna
keep
say
going.
it's it's funny. Probably one of my favorite series is Crash Bandicoot, and the Insane Trilogy. Same thing with Spyro. Are fantastic. Would you call them remasters or remakes? Because in Crash Bandicoot, they actually added more content in it.
I would say remakes for sure.
Okay, so the Insane Trilogy was a fantastic remake. I know they had Crash Bandicoot warped um, abilities and combats and all movements in Crash Bandicoot 2 and 1 just to save time. But even with that little minuscule thing, the challenges, levels, everything about the game was still amazingly fun. Same thing with Spyro. I thought Spyro was fantastic with the Reignite trilogy. But I will
I
say
don't
that
think
the
I've.
reboot for the Spyro, Donald the Dragon, all that stuff, they should never have happened.
Mm, trying to think of if there's any last entries, but yeah, no, I think I kind of gave some good ones.
So the final thing, this is not this doesn't have anything to do with remakes, remasters, or reboots, but I know we kind of talked about we didn't even into a topic, but what would be a series, franchise, or just any concept that you'd love to see in a video game format? Because I know recently you shared this, but I've also seen this before. Is that supposedly they're making the Last Ronin, the TMNT with Mikey as a video
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
I would love to see that. Obviously, I said my opinions on how I'd like to see it play out. You said yours.
Wait, I thought it's Raphael was the last Ronin.
Nope, Mikey.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even read into it.
Donnie, Raphael, and Leonardo and Master Splinter all died.
Mm.
That's why Mike. That's why Mike is like the perfect choice. The funny guy goes to being super serious.
It was super serious. Yeah, no, that does make sense.
But that's gonna be made. I personally would love to see a Blade game done, where you get like Slaughterhouse or X-Men Origin Wolverine combat with like a with like a how do I say, like a God of War or like a Ratchet and Clank open world, or even a Spider-Man open world um like gameplay environment.
Yeah, so yeah, when I saw that, I had to share it because I was like, ooh, like that just sounds like a winner. The Last Ronin, like in an open world RPG type game. Oh, that's a good question. Hmm, I don't know because like I guess unfortunate for me, right? I don't watch a lot of different TV and Hmm.
While you think I could keep
Uh,
talking,
yeah. You kind of put me on the spot there, but in a good way, of course.
because so I take back what I said, because I forgot there's actually a game out there that
I
describes
take
it.
back what I said.
No, I still want Blade, but there's a game out there that I would love to see Blade in. So there's a game
Uh-huh.
called Prototype that has like massive open world, good combat. I'd love to see like a Blade game in a Prototype environment. Um, then I would also like to see a John Wick game. Not like John Wick has like a top-down, third-person, whatever tactical game. I want to see a Call of Duty style mixed with like an MMA, like a Sifu kind of game, like Call of Duty Sifu game, where John Wick is going like from corridor to corridor, just clearing people out, campaign style. I'd love to see a
Hmm.
game like that.
Yeah, this one's I guess a tough one for me. Um,
And it could also be a pre-existing series, but with a different gameplay format. Like let's say World of Warcraft, but instead of being top
I,
down world, MMO, it's like a 4-player co-op. Go through.
yeah, correct. I was going to twist your question into that type of answer, uh, but I still want to think of something for. This, I'm really pulling something out. I might not. You didn't hear my last part, did you?
No.
Okay, I thought so. I'm trying to pay attention to the Discord picking up my notice at that time. But you ever see the Boondown Saints movie?
Oh yes, those are good.
I think those as action adventure games would probably be pretty badass.
So when you say action adventure games, are you thinking about like Kane and Lynch Dog Days, Army of Two kind of stuff, or because I'd love to see Norman Reedus come back in that series.
I would say like Resident Evil style. That type
Which
of
Resident
action
Evil style?
adventure.
There's Resident Evil has like 4 different styles.
Okay. The new like four, I guess.
Okay, so like third person, like shooter action. Okay.
Yeah. I think those movies in that type of genre would probably translate well.
You should look up a game called Army of Two, and
No, I'm just playing.
no, I mean it kind of has like the similar concept, and I think
Mhm.
Army of Two style would probably work best for that. It's kind of weird that with as popular as Boondock Saints, both movies were they never got a game, and almost everything in that era got a game except for Boondocks.
I mean, Boondocks though, as you said, they're very popular, but it's also a cult following
Well,
popular.
same thing with the movie Wanted, but they made a game off of that still.
Then I don't have an answer for you.
No, that'd be a cool one. I would love to see it because like Norman Reedus is like really big into video games now. With Hideo Kojima, and some of the other publishers. Like, well, I guess Hideo Kojima's still with that old Silent Hill game, but yeah, put him back in. We need him in video game format for Boondocks.
I want a Boondock Saints 3 movie. Like I remember there was rumors about it, like when his popularity really skyrocketed from Walking Dead, and I don't know, like if there's any rumors if it ever resurfaced or shot down. They're like, no, it's never happening. Because I know the one other in the movie, the real life guy, he passed away already.
You're talking about the Irish dad, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he passed away.
yeah. Because he was a comedian, which is pretty funny. Uh, but yeah, those movies made me really want to, even though I never did it to this day, but it really wanted me to learn, the Irish accent. Uh, but yeah, I need a movie number 3 first, man. Like, fuck the games, give me a third movie.
What was the Mexican guy's name in the second movie?
Oh man, I forgot.
He was the
But
funniest character.
I want to rewatch them now. They're just so good.
I remember they would like clown on him so bad. He was like, "Yeah, look at what I got." And they're like, "Hold on, you get these little baby pistols." I was like, "That's so sad." He
I
tried so
know
hard to be one of them too.
I know. I think this was our topic. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago about sequels being better than the? I think that one falls under.
It's a
wasn't
very
like
close
far.
line. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah. I
close
was gonna say
line.
it wasn't like far superior, but like it did well enough to be better. Like to your point, very very tiny. Like they didn't make it like the trends usually.
Yeah. To me, one of the classic parts for me was the first Boondocks, where I can't remember his name. I just call him Jesus. Where
Mm-hmm.
all three are at the table, and then he was like playing with the gun. He shoots the cat. He's like, oh shit! He splatters the cat all over the wall.
Man, I wish I remember who introduced, but I would rethink them because they're so great.
I could tell you exactly how I got introduced. So because this was like the late 1990s, and I know I probably shouldn't have been watching because I was a very young kid, like I think 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching The Crow and Underworld, and because those had like advertisements, like movie trailers and all that stuff, one of them was like coming soon, Boondock Saints, and they would play that music like two brothers, fighting crime, and then that's how I seen Boondocks, and I was like, I had to watch that movie.
Nice. Yeah, I'm just glad like I saw those movies before And when finally saw Norman Reedus, I know from Boondock Saints.
Well, the funny thing is that it's funny. We both had a game that we'd love to see, and Norman Reedus was also in Blade. He was in Blade 2.
He was a bad guy, right?
I can't remember if he was a bad guy. He was in Blade 2, and he was working with the vampires, but he was also working with Blade. He was like the tech guy that's in the van, smoked, and then I think he like betrayed Blade, and that's how he died or something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah. So I think.
Well, Wesley Snipes has to be Blade in my video game. That's all I'm saying. Listen here, motherfucker.
But yeah, that's my pull out of my ass answer as I was thinking. Yeah, I don't know if I got anything else for you. Even with the other like twisting the question, like seeing the current video game in a different genre. Like I'm sure I could give a lot more of those if I put my right now like on the spot. I'm kind of pressured and not really thinking at this point.
So I could. This one is just a what if because I'd like to see it happen because I like gore.
Mm-hmm.
But give me World of Warcraft villains, like the big broody ones, like the Lich King. Give me Garrosh, Gul'dan, all that stuff, in like a 4-player co-op where you're like top down third person and you're just going through places, just beating hordes of like armies down. In just like a slugfest way. And there's no real story. It's just them absolutely obliterating people.
So you want like
battle scenarios,
like a rampage game of them,
yeah,
like Heroes of the Storm.
Well, no, Heroes of the Storm is like a mobile game. I don't want a mobile game.
I know that, but I'm saying, but you have all these classic characters colliding against each other.
Yeah, where they go through these
battles. Heroes of the Storm was.
Yeah, they go through the certain battle scenarios, just annihilating all the people in their path, like Arthas with the Strathholm thing, or Garrosh with the Veil, just going down, bowling everybody down. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd play that, but
I want to see actual blood though, like Garrosh just tear him apart.
If I may rewind, because I feel remiss if I didn't say this now, because it crossed my mind as I was trying to think of an answer for this last question. Remake Super Mario RPG also needs to happen. And that actually answers this last question a little bit too, because that's Mario instead of action, it's RPG. So Super Mario RPG needs a fucking remake in the worst way.
Not only that, but the people that made the modded version of Super Mario RPG Armageddon needs to collaborate with the actual creators to make an unbelievable game. Did you ever play Armageddon?
No.
They made like the hellish levels you'll ever see in a video game. They're next to impossible to beat.
So yeah, I need that. I need that too. I'm sure a lot of people co-sign that. Probably next to Ocarina of Time and Chrono Trigger.
I could see that. All right, well, I don't think I have anything to add to that except for I don't know why I'm so fixated on a Blade game. Maybe because I want to see the movies again, and for some reason slicing and dicing vampires and Redfall coming out very soon. I'm just like in that vampire mindset. I just want to see it happen.
Well, I did say like there really should be more very narrative like let's reinvigorate vampires here.
You're telling me there should not be a Twilight game?
No, absolutely not.
Sparkle. Oh, dude, I would love to see that as like a cameo, like a vampire game, but you see like Edward Collins from like Twilight just getting demolished. He's like, Blade comes out, yeah, and he just pixie dust.
And also too, for those that are in the chat, yes, I know the world wants a remaster of Nintendo. You'll get it someday.
Wait, what?
I said for those out there in the chat, yes, one day you will. Just wait.
I love how the part cuts out. I'll just hear it from your side, but yes.
All right. Anyways, I think that's all we have for today. Thank you. Well, maybe you should close it because apparently my mic cuts off.
All right. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to just leave a comment. That's all we said. That's all we want. If you like to want to hear your opinions and whatever we talked about. If you disagree with us, we'd love to hear that too. The conversation is always welcome. But other than that, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.